On the college entrance exam, I purposely answered all the bonus questions right, just to get far away from the school beauty, Lu Rian. After walking out of the exam room, Lu Rian's little squad of friends started mocking me, Chen Fan. Lu Rian said she didn't do well, so make sure you turn in a blank paper this afternoon. Otherwise, you won't have a chance to simp for her anymore. After saying that, they all burst into loud laughter. I looked at Lu Rian's disgusted face, nodded, and said, got it. But in my mind, I was thinking, whoever wants to be her simp can go right ahead. I am so done playing the servant. I turned right around and called my butler, instantly canceling all financial support for her family. And kicking them all out on the street. Lu Rian was furious and called me 99 times, but I didn't pick up a single one. Oh, now she's panicking? Where was this energy before? In my past life, as the son of the richest man, I went crazy simping for my own chauffeur's daughter. Just to marry her, I transferred the company my dad left me right over to her. But while spending my money, she went and dated someone else. She pampered her boyfriend like a little puppy, but bossed me around like I was just some servant. On her wedding day, I called her, begging to borrow a little money for my medical bills. But she cruelly said, these past few years of you pestering me have been an absolute nightmare. Chen Fan, please, stay the hell away from me. On my deathbed, I looked at the woman holding me in her arms and finally realized that the wealthy heiress from the capital, the one I had rejected, had actually been waiting for me all along. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back in my senior year of high school. That year, I was dozing off on my desk when that trashy girl, Lu Rian, woke me up. Lu Jinian's stomach is hurting. Hurry up and go buy him some stomach medicine. Then go to the cafeteria and get him some food. Make sure to get extra meat. He's way too skinny. He really needs to eat well and build up his strength. Right then, Lu Jinian was resting his head on his desk, surrounded by a crowd of people treating him like a star. Everyone was babying him because of his stomach ache, but of course, the one who cared the most was Lu Rian. They had always been the top 2 students in the class. In everyone else's eyes, they were a match made in heaven, the perfect golden couple. While I was just Lu Rian's brainless simp, dozing off in class every day. And spending my breaks buying food, fetching water, and running errands for her. Now that I realized I had been reborn, looking at Lu Rian's smug face again just made me want to laugh. What gave her the right to treat me like trash? Seeing me just standing there dazed, Lu Rian snapped, what are you staring at? Hurry up and go, and come right back. After saying that, she walked over to Lu Jinian's side, and gently patted his back. At that moment, Lu Jinian glanced at me and said, making Chen Fan go. Doesn't feel right. I'll just go myself. What are you worried about? He loves doing this kind of stuff. If I don't let him do it, he actually gets mad. Right? She said, looking at me. I twitched the corners of my mouth, and walked to the cafeteria without a word. This time, I waited in line and bought 2 portions of food. A classmate next to me saw me and snickered. Here to fetch food for the school beauty again, huh? Too bad she only has eyes for Lu Jinian. Someone who's just as excellent as she is. She'd never look twice at a loser like you. A loser like me? Aren't you just a servant's son? Just because you come to school with the young miss every day. You actually fantasize about marrying her? Wake up and smell the coffee. A dumb, useless guy like you is destined to be nothing more than a servant for her family. You'll just be washing her clothes, sweeping her floors, and changing her son's diapers. I let out a furious laugh. Did Lu Rian really tell you guys that I'm just a servant's son? I only let her ride in my private car every single day because I actually had feelings for her. The car that chauffeured me to and from school. But now, in everyone else's eyes, Lu Rian has become the wealthy heiress while I've been reduced to the servant's son. Hearing me ask this, the guy just rolled his eyes at me. Well, duh, now hurry up and bring the young lady her lunch. Don't keep her waiting, he sneered, bursting into laughter. Everyone around me was laughing at what a massive simp I was. Laughing at my pathetic delusions. Just then, the bell rang. I walked out of the cafeteria, but I didn't head back to class. Instead, I sat down by the flower bed, and ate both portions of lunch all by myself. I couldn't even remember the last time I had a proper meal. Because I had no money, I literally couldn't afford anything decent. I always had to wait until the farmer's market was closing, just to scavenge the leftover vegetables that nobody wanted. Meat was completely out of the question. I scarfed down both boxes of food, which finally took the edge off my gnawing hunger. By the time I got back to the classroom, the first warning bell had already rung. The moment Lu Rian saw me walk in, she snapped angrily, "Why are you just getting here? Where's the medicine you bought?" "What medicine?" I stared at her coldly, completely stripped of the desperate adoration I usually showed her. Lu Rian glared at me in disbelief. "The stomach medicine I told you to get for Lu Jinian. I told you his stomach was acting up. Are you totally deaf? You can't even handle one simple task." I glanced over at Lu Jinian, who was looking pathetic and pale. "What exactly is my relationship with Lu Jinian?" I shot back. "Why the hell should I buy him medicine?" Lu Jinian came from a pretty average background, but ever since he hooked up with Lu Rian, she treated him like absolute royalty. Whenever my dad gave me anything nice, Lu Rian would snatch it away and give it straight to him. Even that flashy watch he was wearing right now was actually mine. These two leeches were constantly swiping my credit cards, blowing through my cash and enjoying everything that rightfully belonged to me. And yet, they had the nerve to boss me around like a servant. Fine. Very funny, Chen Fan. You want to throw a little tantrum, huh? Well, if you're going to act like this, don't blame me when I completely ignore you. And don't come crying and begging for my forgiveness later. I just stared right back at Lu Rian, finding her threats absolutely laughable. Why would I ever need your forgiveness? I scoffed. What exactly did I do wrong? Seeing that I actually had the guts to talk back to Lu Rian, the whole class turned to stare. What's going on? Did the ultimate simp suddenly grow a spine? Lu Rian was completely caught off guard. She stared at me, probably remembering all the times I used to grovel at her feet. If you're so tough, then don't bother coming home with me this afternoon. I nodded calmly. Sure, I said, walking right past her to sit down at my desk. I brushed her off as if I barely heard what she was saying, already making up my mind. Lu Jinian's deskmate, Wang Yan, saw this and immediately jumped in to play the hero. Seriously, Chen Fan? What the hell is your problem? She literally just asked you to buy some medicine, and you couldn't even manage that? Can't you see that Lu Jinian is in pain? I shot her an icy glare. If you care so much, why don't you go buy it for him yourself? But Wang Yan puffed out her chest, fiercely entitled. Because this is your job. Why should I have to go? I have absolutely zero relation to Lu Jinian, I retorted. So why the hell should I? Wang Yan pointed a furious finger right at my face. Because you're just a servant for the school beauty's family. And now she's ordering you to buy medicine for her friend. Isn't that just common sense? Speaking of which, I looked at Lu Rian. Lu Rian, are you the one spreading rumors all over the place? That I'm your family's servant? I locked my eyes on her. Lu Rian looked a bit guilty for a second. Of course, these were all guesses people made after seeing her get dropped off in a luxury car every day. She just never bothered to explain it. There's no way she would tell people her dad is just a driver. And that she's the daughter of my family's driver. Forget about the medicine, I'll go buy it myself later. Lu Rian thought to herself. Since I liked her, it was completely normal that I didn't want to buy medicine for Lu Jinian. Lu Rian glared at me. Where's the food you got? Even if you didn't buy the meds, you at least got the food, right? Besides, she heard from the classmates at the cafeteria that they just saw me get 2 portions of food. I calmly replied, I ate them. What did you just say? You ate both portions? Seeing Lu Rian looking a bit worked up, I just nodded. Hearing this, the classmate sitting in front of us looked at me with disgust. Are you a pig? You actually finished 2 whole portions? They were used to kissing Lu Rian's ass and always looked down on me. In the past, considering they were all Lu Rian's friends, I gave them face. I didn't want to offend anyone around her, hoping they would put in a good word for me. Now I realize I just spoiled them way too much. Obviously, every time Lu Rian treated them to meals or whatever, she was spending my money. I spent my own money. Forget about eating 2 portions, even if I ate 20 portions, it's perfectly justified. The classmate in front heard my words, and his face instantly darkened. Finally, he muttered under his breath, your own money, yeah right. Your money probably all came from the campus Bell's family. I didn't even bother to explain, but Lu Rian, sitting next to me, was already getting mad. Especially since I actually didn't get her any food, leaving her starving. Her anger completely boiled over. She snapped at me, Chen Fan. You brought this on yourself. I hope you can hold out for 2 more days this time. Saying that, she stood up right away and grabbed her stuff. She turned to Lu Jinian's deskmate, Wang Yan, and said, I'm switching with you. You go sit with him. Every time she got upset, this was exactly how she punished me. She would refuse to sit with me anymore. After all, getting her to sit with me was something I had begged for before. She was basically my tutor. By sitting next to me, she could tutor me and help with my lessons. But thinking back on it now, Lu Rian never really taught me anything. She just ordered me around every single day. She seemed to think this would actually scare me, but I completely ignored her. Lu Rian didn't get to eat anything, and Lu Jinian was in constant pain from a bad stomach. She sat off to the side, her face totally gloomy, shooting a glare at me sitting by the window. This time, Lu Rian was genuinely furious. She figured that when I eventually came crawling back to apologize, she would really show me who's boss. When school let out in the afternoon, the Maybach coming to pick me up parked right at the gate. After I walked out of the school, I headed straight for the car. The whole school knew by now that I had pissed off Lu Rian. They were all waiting to see me make a fool of myself. Seeing me actually have the nerve to get into the car, they couldn't help but point fingers at me. Didn't he refuse to even buy food for the campus belle? How does he still have the guts to hitch a ride in her family's car? He's just a servant's son. He doesn't actually think he's the boss here, does he? Miss Lu hasn't even showed up yet. I can't believe he had the nerve to get in the car. Miss Lu is honestly way too nice. If it were me and I had to deal with an arrogant servant's son, I'd have him fired on the spot. Listening to all those mocking voices, couldn't even be bothered to acknowledge them. Once I got into the car, I gave a direct order to the driver. Drive. The driver glanced at me. But, Miss Lu isn't here yet. Let's wait a little longer. Sometimes, Lu Rian would run late because of student council duties. In the past, I would always wait for her. He probably figured today would be another long wait. So he definitely didn't expect me to order him to drive the second I got in. Seeing that the driver was ignoring my direct command, and was actually trying to speak up for Lu Rian, I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity. Uncle Lu, my dad only has one son. Since when does our family have a miss? Did you get into an argument with Rian? Oh, don't worry, young master. I'll give her a good scolding later. Save it, just drive the car. I'm not sharing a ride with her anymore. In fact, I don't want to see her at all. Uncle Lu's face filled with hesitation. He still refused to listen to my orders. He knew all too well how much of a pushover I used to be when it came to his daughter. Whenever Lu Rian said anything, I never dared to talk back. He figured that even if he blatantly disobeyed me, I wouldn't do anything about it. At worst, Lu Rian would just give me a scolding. He honestly believed that once I inherited the family fortune, all that money would belong to his daughter anyway. This mere driver had stopped seeing himself as an employee long ago. He was already putting on the airs of a father-in-law right in front of me. Are you going to drive or not? I snapped, frowning deeply. To be honest, my dad had wanted to fire him a long time ago. Rumor had it he was secretly gambling. My father felt that keeping a guy like that around the house was just too risky. But back then, I was completely out of my mind. I constantly defended him, thinking that if he kept his job, Lu Rian would get to stay at the Chen estate too. So, I put in a lot of good words for him, even lying that he took really good care of me. That's the only reason this driver was still employed today, and yet, I never expected that now he wouldn't even listen to the direct orders of his actual boss. Ah, they're here. Seeing Lu Rian appearing at the school gates, Uncle Lu quickly scrambled out of the car. Lu Rian was holding onto Lu Jinian, supporting him. The two of them walked up to the vehicle together, and Uncle Lu rushed to open the door for them. As Lu Rian was about to help Lu Jinian get inside, I thought back to the past. Because I used to be so obsessed with her. Just to get her to ride home with me, I used to let Lu Jinian tag along with us every single time. The driver would have to go out of his way to drop off Lu Jinian first, before finally taking us home. And not just that. In the mornings, I had to drag myself out of bed at the crack of dawn just to go pick him up first. But today, before Lu Jinian could even step foot into the car, I spoke up. I thought you said you weren't riding back with me this afternoon? So, why are you trying to get into my car? The students watching the scene unfold couldn't hold back their insults anymore. What is Chen Fan's problem? That's obviously the school beauty's car. Why is he acting like he owns the place, right? Letting him hitch a ride is already generous enough. And now he's actually trying to ban the miss from riding in it? The crowd kept throwing out insult after insult. Lu Rian stared at me, her expression turning stiff. She couldn't fathom what had gotten into me today, refusing to back down when given the chance. Do you really have to act like this? She sighed. Look, I'm not even mad at you about what happened at noon anymore. I've decided to forgive you. Chen Fan, are you really going to keep making a fuss like this? I don't need your forgiveness. Find your own way back. Don't tag along with me. Lu Rian's face immediately turned all shades of pale and green. She knew perfectly well that she had built up this rich kid persona in front of everyone. If she didn't get in my car right now, wouldn't her whole fake identity be totally exposed? So she just reached out, dragged me right out of the car, and let Lu Jinian get in instead. Lu Rian, don't push it too far. I'll admit, I was absolutely furious with her. I couldn't even remember a lot of the things that happened before, but seeing Lu Rian's true colors this time. I had no idea how I had put up with her for so long, and even thought she was a good person. Lu Rian just completely ignored me, clearly having no intention of reasoning with me at all. She told her dad to drive, and Uncle Lu actually just drove the car straight away, leaving me standing right there on the spot. The crowd watching couldn't help but burst into laughter. Well done. That's exactly how someone like that should be treated. This was just completely absurd. I pulled out my phone. This phone was the one Lu Rian had bought for me, a cheap Nokia worth barely a few $100. Just to please her, back on my birthday, I gave her the brand new iPhone my dad had bought for me, and took this piece of junk phone from her instead. Back then, I actually thought doing that would protect her fragile ego. Now, looking at this trash phone, it just felt completely ridiculous. I went ahead and called my dad anyway. It wasn't long before the Maybach that had just driven off came rolling right back. The car pulled up and stopped at the entrance again. Uncle Lu stepped out, seeing that my expression was pretty grim. Young master, judging by his face, he had clearly just gotten chewed out. Tell those two to get out. I refused to share a car with them. Uncle Lu glanced at the two sitting inside. Lu Rian helped Lu Jinian out of the car. Lu Jinian clearly wasn't expecting this turn of events either. As he looked at me, his face grew paler by the second. Chen Fan, it's fine if you have a problem with me, but there is absolutely no need for you to target Lu Rian like this. She's always been perfectly nice to you, hasn't she? Lu Rian quickly reached out and stopped Lu Jinian. Don't bother saying all that to him. Seeing that both of them were finally out of the car, I went ahead and got in. Just before we drove off, I rolled down the window, gave Lu Rian a big smile, and waved. Bye. Uncle Lu glanced at me through the rearview mirror. Clearly shocked that I would act so ruthlessly, he couldn't hold back and said, "Young master. It's perfectly normal to have arguments with people, please don't be too angry. I'll make sure Lu Rian comes to apologize to you later. It's just, she doesn't have a car right now. I'm afraid she'll probably have to take the bus. Who knows what time it'll be by the time she gets home. Everyone else manages to take the bus just fine, so what makes her so special that she can't? Uncle Lu, have you conveniently forgotten exactly who pays your salary? If you have such a big problem with me, how about you just quit right now?" He actually had the nerve to tell me what to do. Was it just because I had a crush on his daughter, that he thought he could just disrespect me like this? Hearing my words, Uncle Lu was terrified and shut his mouth instantly. When I got back home, Auntie Jo saw me. "Young master, why are you back all by yourself? Where is Miss Lu? From now on, there is no Miss Lu in this house." Hearing what I said, Auntie Jo froze for a second. Our young master has finally snapped out of it. I used to treat Lu Rian so well that those two, father and daughter, completely forgot who was actually in charge. Auntie Jo had wanted to speak up about it so many times, but never dared to say a word. Because it would make me unhappy. Hearing me say these things now, Aunt Jo was deeply moved, looking at me. She was the servant who treated me best in this house, but in the past, because she kept meddling in Lu Rian's affairs, I actually found her annoying. Later, after Lu Rian took over the household, Aunt Jo was the very first one to be kicked out. Thinking about everything that happened in the past, and seeing Aunt Jo again now, my eyes teared up. I'll head upstairs first. Alright, Miss Lee has arrived. Tell her to just go back. Actually, Li Xia visited our house quite often, but since she was the one my father arranged for me, and I was blindly in love with Lu Rian, I was sick to death of Li Xia. Every time she came over, I wouldn't even see her. I just had someone send her away. As a result, by the very end, Li Xia and I had barely even seen each other a few times. Remembering that right before I passed away, it was her people who rushed me to the hospital, and that she actually still remembered she was my fiancé, I stopped Aunt Jo. "I'll go see her." "Where is she?" "In the backyard, playing with Da Bai." When I got to the backyard, I saw Li Xia feeding Da Bai. I was the one who wanted to keep this dog, but Lu Rian said she didn't like dogs, so I completely stopped going near him. I never expected that Li Xia would actually get along so well with Da Bai. Thinking about what I heard about her before I died, someone with such great conditions like hers, yet she stayed single for so many years, my eyes grew red. Li Xia finished petting Da Bai, then finally looked up at me. Seeing me standing at the door, not knowing when I had arrived, she was about to walk over, but then remembered how much I hated her, and stopped in her tracks. Young Master Chen, Li Xia was beautiful, but had a very calm and steady personality. Even though she was the exact same age as me, she somehow looked like she was already in her 20s. As for her grades, she was always number 1 in the province. She was the person Lu Rian couldn't stand the most. Lu Rian always said Li Xia just had a good background and that her family gave her tons of learning resources, which was why she could be so outstanding. If she had her background, she definitely wouldn't be worse than Li Xia. Every time she saw Li Xia's grades, Lu Rian would get really upset. As for me, I couldn't help but treat Li Xia as an enemy too. But thinking about it carefully, I never really had any interaction with her. How had she ever offended me? Seeing her this time, I managed to hold back my emotions with great difficulty, and asked, "Did you need me for something?" "I just came over to see you." Seeing that I didn't say anything, Li Xia sensibly said, "I know you don't want to see me. I'll leave right away." She hadn't actually expected to be able to see me. She just wanted to come over and check on Da Bai, but didn't expect that I would actually be willing to see her. For her, this was already enough. Seeing her about to leave, I spoke up and asked, "Do you want to stay for dinner?" Hearing this, Li Xia was stunned. She looked at me in surprise. "Can I?" At this moment, the setting sun cast a warm glow on me, making me look a bit more approachable. "Of course you can." Right at this time, Lu Rian hasn't come back yet. She had to take Lu Jinian home. If this were the old me, I definitely would have waited for her to come back before starting dinner. Seeing that I wanted to eat so early today, Aunt Jo was a little surprised. "Are we not waiting for Miss Lu?" Why on earth would I wait for her? Because all the servants in the house were used to me acting like an absolute simp for Lu Rian. Now that I'm done simping, I guess they just aren't used to it yet. Aunt Jo didn't ask any more questions. "Alright, I'll go get things ready right away. Oh, and by the way, let Uncle Lu know, he doesn't need to come in to work tomorrow." Aunt Jo froze for a second, but then quickly snapped back to reality. After all, it wasn't her place to question the master's business about firing Lu Rian's father. As soon as I sat down in the dining room, I caught Li Xia secretly glancing at me. When she saw me sit down, she awkwardly darted her eyes away. I never realized Li Xia was this innocent back then. I honestly couldn't resist teasing her a little. "Why won't you look at me? Am I that hard to look at? I mean, my grades might be terrible, but I'm not that bad looking, right?" If Lu Rian hadn't screwed me over so badly later on, I never would have ended up in such a pathetic state. No, she looked at me, trying her best to keep a straight face. But if you looked closely, you could clearly see that her ears were completely red. I just smiled and asked, "Oh, by the way, I heard you've always had really good grades." Faced with my sudden enthusiasm, Li Xia clearly wasn't used to it. They're alright. Do you happen to know any reliable tutors? Could you recommend one to me? After all, counting on Lu Rian was a complete joke. And in this life, I absolutely refused to repeat the same mistakes as my last one. I used to think my dad could protect me forever, so I never even bothered opening a book. While I still have the chance, I need to get my grades back on track. Li Xia had access to the best resources. If she recommended a teacher, they would definitely be useful. You, want to find a tutor? What about Lu Rian? She had heard before that I already had a tutor, who was also my classmate, which was the whole reason Lu Rian had been living at my house. She's fired, because Lu Rian completely looks down on me. She never had the slightest bit of patience to actually tutor me. All that money I paid her just went straight down the drain. Li Xia looked genuinely surprised, seeing how serious I was and that I clearly wasn't joking around. She picked up her glass and took a small sip, trying to hide her nervousness. I don't have a tutor actually. I just study on my own, but if you don't mind, I could come over and tutor you every day. She probably thought I would reject her. After all, I used to not even bother giving her the time of day. The fact that I even asked her to stay for dinner today was already a huge shock to her. But to her surprise, right after she made the offer, my face lit up with absolute joy. Really? Li Xia nodded, looking totally overwhelmed. As long as you're okay with it, I can do it. Of course, I'm completely fine with it. I'm just worried about taking up your study time. Don't you have your own work to do? It's fine, it won't get in the way. Even though Li Xia's face didn't show much expression, her eyes were incredibly soft and gentle. She had actually finished the entire high school curriculum a long time ago. And she even had a guaranteed college admission spot. But she kept quiet, afraid it might make me feel insecure. I didn't have the courage to say much. Well then, thank you. My grades are pretty awful, just please don't hate me for being slow. Lu Rian gets great grades too, but she has absolutely zero patience with me. If she explains a question just once, and I still don't get it, she'd just scream at me. I used to be an average student, but after her so-called tutoring, my grades actually tanked. It completely destroyed my confidence. If I get stuck on a problem, I'll just come over to your place after school from now on. The two of us were eating together. Seeing how quiet Li Xia was being, I picked up my chopsticks and put some food in her bowl. Make yourself at home, no need to be polite. But right at that exact moment, Lu Rian walked in, having just dropped Lu Jinian off at home. She had just gotten the news about her dad being fired. Her dad had completely chewed her out, and seeing that I was already eating without waiting for her, and that all the dishes on the table had been touched, her face instantly darkened. I gave her a cold, indifferent glance, and just kept on eating. Lu Rian had originally come looking for me to ask about her dad's situation. But when she saw Li Xia sitting there, she snapped, "What is she doing here?" In the past, just to please her, I never let myself get close to any other girls. Whenever Li Xia came over, I would just kick her out without even looking at her. So she never expected that I would actually invite her to stay for dinner today. She's my guest. You got a problem with that? Lu Rian forced herself to sit down, glaring at me. You invited her over here specifically to keep you company. Just to piss me off, didn't you? Li Xia just sat quietly beside me, not saying a word. I looked right at Lu Rian and scoffed, "You're overthinking it. You really aren't that important, Lu Rian." In the past, I used to think this woman was my whole world. My entire life had to revolve completely around her, but getting a second chance. Now, all I feel when I look at her is absolute disgust and contempt. Continuing to care about someone like her would only drag my life down into an endless abyss. If you think that hanging out with other girls is going to make me jealous, Chen Fan, then you're seriously deluding yourself. Seeing you get cozy with someone else? I'm honestly thrilled. Anything to stop you from annoying me all day long. After dropping that, she stomped straight upstairs to her room. So ridiculous. As soon as Lu Rian stormed off, I could see the look in Li Xia's eyes across from me grow complicated. Hey, don't listen to her nonsense. She wouldn't actually be mad about this, would she? I honestly had no idea. But to my surprise, Li Xia just didn't say a single word. Her attitude had turned noticeably cold. After we finished eating, I walked her to the door. I looked at her and said, "Be careful on your way back." Okay. She left without really saying much else to me. She seemed so incredibly quiet. I headed back inside the house. Lu Rian was just walking down the stairs. Even though she did so many horrible things later on, I had to admit she really had a pretty face. She looked so gentle and innocent. That was the exact same look that completely fooled me in the past. Right then, Lu Rian glared at me and demanded, "Why the hell did you get my dad fired?" She hadn't dared to bring this up in front of an outsider earlier. Simply because she didn't want anyone to know the truth, that she was actually just the daughter of the Chen family's driver. Throwing a tantrum in front of Li Xia would have completely humiliated her. I rolled my eyes and scoffed. I fired a driver. Do I seriously need to explain myself to you? That's my dad. I was the one who told him to do all those things today. This has nothing to do with him. If you've got a problem, take it up with me. Then just fire me. The moment she mentioned getting fired, I instantly felt completely refreshed. I stared right at Lu Rian and said, alright, no problem. What did you just say? Lu Rian stared at me in absolute shock. Seeing this, I told her, haven't you always thought I was just too stupid? Well, since that's the case, let's just call it quits from now on. Pack your things and move out of my house. I'll hire a different tutor. Ever since you started tutoring me, my grades have actually gotten worse and worse. I really don't think you're worth the massive salary I'm paying you. Lu Rian thought I was just messing around, but she never expected that I was actually firing her, stripping her of her position as my tutor. Your grades are terrible simply because you are just incredibly stupid. You just can't keep up. If I explain the exact same problem to Lu Jinian just once, he grasps it instantly. But you're as stupid as a pig. And you're blaming me for that? Even if you switched to another teacher, the result would be exactly the same. Nobody could possibly teach you anything else. This is entirely a you problem. Seeing that she was still trying to pin the blame on me at a time like this, I just said, pack up and get out of my house. Lu Rian furrowed her brows. Chen Fan, you are still just a student right now. Your main focus should be on your studies. No wonder your grades are such garbage. What on earth are you even talking about? These petty little mind games of yours. Aren't they just because you're jealous of how close Lu Jinian and I are? So you're throwing a tantrum. But right now, I only want to focus on my studies and fight for a spot at a top-tier university. Unlike you, who wouldn't even need to go to school because your family is filthy rich anyway. So, there is absolutely no way I could date you right now. I just stared at the woman standing in front of me, feeling completely, utterly dumbfounded. It took me a few seconds to finally process it all. Who the hell said anything about wanting to date you? Seriously, Lu Rian, where on earth do you get this insane confidence from? Did you genuinely think I wanted to be with you? Let's get one thing straight, if I didn't care about you, you would be absolutely nothing. Lu Rian clearly thought I was just acting tough to save face. Think whatever you want, but I have to warn you, if you ever let Li Xia stay over for dinner again, don't come crying when I give you the cold shoulder. After dropping that line, she marched straight back to her room and slammed the door shut behind her. I headed back into my own room and then dialed Joe's number. Joe, tomorrow morning, I want you to pack up all of Lu Rian's belongings and clear them out of her room. My house has no room for someone who constantly tries to walk all over me. After that, I got Li Xia's phone number and saved it into my contacts. While I was at it, I shot her a quick text. Hey, did you make it home safely? But she didn't reply at all. The next morning when I woke up, since I didn't have to go pick up Lu Jinian anymore, I actually got to sleep in until I naturally woke up. I honestly thought Lu Rian would have packed up and left by now. To my surprise, when I got out of bed, she was sitting right there at the dining table, waiting for me. I grabbed a seat and just started digging right into my breakfast. Every single day, just rushing out to go pick up Lu Jinian meant I almost never got to sit down and enjoy a proper breakfast at home. Right then, seeing Lu Rian sitting there waiting for me, I'm going to go pick her up, so you can just leave early by yourself. Once I finished up my breakfast, I walked outside with Lu Rian following closely right on my heels. The driver had already been swapped out for someone else, who immediately stepped up to open the car door for me. I slid into the seat, and Lu Rian just casually climbed right in after me. I looked at her and said, School Beauty Lu, what's the meaning of this? Didn't you say you wouldn't be traveling with me anymore? The things you said yesterday. I remember them crystal clear. Lu Rian pressed her lips tightly together, staying completely silent. If my father hadn't forced me to make peace with you, I absolutely wouldn't be doing this. So what if your family has a bit of money? You just love throwing your weight around. Big deal. But my father still needs this job. I couldn't be bothered wasting my time with her here. So I told the driver to go. The two of us arrived at the school gates. I stepped out of the car, with Lu Rian following right behind me. In the past, whenever they arrived, they would always bring Lu Jinian along. Today, Lu Jinian had taken the bus by himself. Seeing Lu Rian, he hurried over. Lu Jinian's gaze then landed on me. After the stunt I pulled yesterday, he was completely baffled too. How dare a mere servant's son act so arrogantly toward Lu Rian? Seeing Lu Rian and me heading into school together, he asked, Did you two make up? I paid absolutely no attention to them and just walked straight inside. Lu Rian, on the other hand, just stared at my back. Seeing that I was completely ignoring her, she furrowed her brows slightly and said to Lu Jinian, I'm not going to stoop to his level. Regardless, letting a servant's son walk all over you like this, you're just too much of a pushover. Right now, everyone's gossiping that Chen Fan is the real young master. There's no need to care about what they think, Lu Rian replied. My dad is on pretty good terms with Chen Fan, and he asked me to look out for him more. I can't just leave him hanging, right? Alright. Seeing that she was only acting this way for her father's sake, Lu Jinian breathed a slight sigh of relief. When I got to the classroom, Wang Yan was already there. She blocked the aisle, refusing to let me in. "Move," I demanded. Wang Yan shot me a look and snapped, "You are so shameless. Yesterday, you actually ditched school beauty Lu and Lu Jinian right there and had the driver take off with just you." I stared at Wang Yan and let out a soft scoff. "It's my own car. I have every right to deny anyone a ride. Is that any of your damn business? Who the hell do you think you are?" Seeing my completely unapologetic attitude, everyone couldn't help but feel intrigued. "Are you saying that my bok belongs to your family? What else would it be?" I shot a cool glance at the person who spoke. Wang Yan, however, let out a mocking laugh. "A loser like you? Chen Fan, we know exactly what kind of background you have. And now you're trying to play the wealthy young master here? Do you even have the right? I heard the driver is actually your dad. Your whole family works for the Lu family. School beauty Lu is just too nice. Which is why she doesn't hold it against you. Otherwise, she would have kicked you to the curb ages ago. But you really shouldn't push your damn luck." Wang Yan was tight with Lu Jinian, and Lu Jinian was always hanging around Lu Rian. Hearing her declare this, the crowd immediately bought into her words. Just then, Lu Rian and Lu Jinian appeared at the classroom door. Lu Rian's expression looked terribly stiff, because those very words Wang Yan was spouting weren't actually exposing me, they were insulting her. She marched over and snapped at Wang Yan, "Get back to your seat." Wang Yan shot Lu Rian a frustrated, helpless glare. He clearly sensed Lu Rian's heavy annoyance, so he reluctantly moved his things out of the way. Lu Rian sat down next to me once again. But honestly, as for her doing this, I didn't pay it much attention. After all, I couldn't care less about her actions. He was the teacher's favorite and his social skills were absolutely top-notch. Nobody would say a single word if he switched seats. Meanwhile, Wang Yan, sitting right next to Lu Jinian, felt completely bitter about the whole situation. She turned to him and complained, "Lu Jinian, what the hell is our campus beauty Lu thinking? Chen Fan is practically walking all over her, and she's still defending him like that? I heard Chen Fan even moved in to live with her family. Her dad just asked her to keep an eye on Chen Fan, that's it. It doesn't mean anything else. Don't overthink it." "Oh, so that's what's going on." I was wondering why Chen Fan was acting so cocky. He even claimed that luxury car belonged to his family. I mean, the phone Lu Rian uses obviously costs a fortune, and the gift she bought you wasn't cheap either. But look at the phone Chen Fan is dragging around. It's practically the same cheap junk I use. And he actually has the nerve to pretend he's some rich heir? Who's buying that? I sat in my seat, sneaking a quick glance at my phone. Li Xia had finally texted me back. It was just a single word. She came off sounding incredibly cold. I couldn't help but think back to how she treated me yesterday. She was so sweet and friendly. But the moment we went our separate ways, her attitude completely froze over. I sent that message last night and she's only just replying to it now. Right at that moment, Lu Rian was sitting beside me, seeing me glued to my messages, and noticing the contact name was still Li Xia, she couldn't help but frown. Everything looked exactly the same on the surface, but ever since yesterday, she felt like I had morphed into a completely different person. I pulled out my phone and shot Li Xia another text. "So, are you still coming to the tutoring session this afternoon?" Li Xia replied with just a single word again, "Yeah. Well, as long as she shows up, that's fine." I stopped obsessing over it. During class, I was paying an incredible amount of attention. When noon rolled around, Lu Jinian walked over to head downstairs for lunch with Lu Rian. Lu Rian subconsciously shot a glance at me and asked, "Are you not going to eat?" My intense focus today absolutely baffled her. I hadn't even dozed off in class once. Right now, I was still carefully organizing my notes. People used to joke that she was the only thing on my mind. So the fact that I was actually studying hard was shocking. Seeing me still busy after the bell rang, Lu Rian couldn't help but ask out of pure curiosity. But I acted as if I hadn't heard a single word she said. I flat out ignored her. Lu Jinian glanced at Lu Rian, then said, "Chen Fan, if you're not going, we'll just head down. I'll bring some food back up for you." "No need." I immediately shut down his offer. Lu Jinian was a genuinely nice guy. At least, that's what everyone always thought of him. Even when people gossiped and mocked him behind his back, he always kept this incredibly positive and upbeat attitude. But there was absolutely no way I was going to owe anyone a favor. I neatly packed up my things, then stood up and walked away, completely ditching them instead of heading downstairs together. Lu Jinian walked right beside Lu Rian and asked, "What is his deal today? He's completely ignoring you. Did we do something to piss him off?" Lu Rian was just as baffled. She desperately wanted to figure it out too. Usually, no matter how icy she was toward me, I would always follow her around like a pathetic little puppy. But ever since yesterday, she hadn't done anything out of the ordinary, yet my attitude was completely stone cold. It was absolutely mind-boggling. "Oh, by the way, are you inviting him to your birthday party this weekend?" This week happens to be Lu Rian's birthday. Last year, she celebrated it at the Imperial Court Hotel. I booked the hotel and arranged absolutely everything. I let Lu Rian invite our classmates, spending hundreds of thousands in a single night. Everyone who went couldn't stop raving about it. I felt that attending Lu Rian's birthday party was a real honor. Naturally, this time was supposed to be the same. A few days ago, I had already gotten everything perfectly arranged. If I hadn't said I was going to fire him, Lu Rian wouldn't have thought much of it this time. But after what I said yesterday, and acting so cold today, she couldn't help but overthink things. If I don't go, will she even still have her birthday party? Watching my figure walk away, Rian couldn't help but comfort herself. Whatever, why am I even worried? He's definitely coming. There's no way he'd just ignore my birthday. Maybe he's acting cold on purpose, just to give me a surprise. Thinking of this, she relaxed a bit. She turned to Lu Jinian and said, he'll definitely come. Yeah, he's been there for every single one of your birthdays. In the afternoon, Lu Rian and Lu Jinian had rehearsal for the school anniversary performance. I didn't wait for her and just went straight home. Li Xia was already there. As soon as I got back, she and Dabai came over to greet me. Seeing her right in front of me, I broke into a warm smile. Maybe it was because of our bond from my past life, that now, every single time I see her feels so incredibly precious and rare. Seeing the smile on my face, Li Xia froze for a second. She was used to my spoiled and distant attitude. My recent burst of warmth always made her a bit shy, too flustered to even look me in the eye. I looked at her, smiling, and said, you're here so early. Let's head straight to the study then. I led Li Xia upstairs. During class today, I realized there were a lot of things I didn't quite get. I figured I could ask you for help. The two of us sat down in the study. Li Xia took a seat right next to me. She brought out 2 test papers, wanting to gauge my current level first. I earnestly finished the papers, then handed them over to her. Li Xia quietly held the papers, looking them over in silence for a moment. I felt a little ashamed. Sorry, I'm really dumb. It's not your fault. It's just that your study methods aren't quite right. Let's start by brushing up on your basics, okay? I nodded in agreement. While Li Xia was tutoring me, she kept her head down the whole time, not even glancing at me. She was explaining things so earnestly, and her way of solving problems was incredibly easy for me to grasp. A lot of things that used to confuse me instantly made sense the moment she broke them down. Li Xia taught for quite a while and started to feel a bit thirsty. The second she lifted her head, she caught me staring right at her. She gulped nervously, looking a bit uncomfortable, then quickly shifted her eyes back to the questions. What's wrong? Is there an issue? I just think you're really patient with me. But why are you so cold over text? You only replied to me with 2 words from start to finish. Are you holding a grudge against me because of what happened with Lu Rian? No, my family came over yesterday, so I was just a bit busy. I couldn't reply to your message in time. By the time I saw it, it was already morning. If you ever need help with anything, feel free to give me a call anytime. Just as the two of us were busy, my phone suddenly started ringing. I quickly answered it, and Lu Rian's voice came from the other end of the line. Chen Fan, what the hell does this mean? What did I do this time? Hearing her accusing tone, I had absolutely no idea how I had offended her this time. You actually had them throw all of my stuff away. I couldn't help but glance over at Li Xia. I didn't hide anything from her and told Lu Rian directly, I already told you yesterday. You're fired, and since that is the case, you have absolutely no reason to stay in my house anymore, do you? I'm in the middle of a class right now, so stop bothering me. After saying that, I just hung up the phone. Lu Rian stood outside the door, watching all of her luggage being tossed out into the street. She completely couldn't believe I was capable of doing this, that I was actually kicking her out. I put down my phone and said to Li Xia, let's continue. Li Xia gave a soft reply, but not long after that, the study door was suddenly pushed open, and Lu Rian was standing right in the doorway. Her face was completely dark with absolute rage. Her gaze fell upon me and Li Xia, and a flash of pure contempt appeared in her eyes. Seeing her suddenly barge in, I stood up and asked, what are you doing here? Didn't you say you disliked me? Yet here you are, pestering me like a stalker. Lu Rian stormed forward, demanding in a furious tone, Chen Fan. Do you think it's funny to humiliate me like this? Li Xia also stood up, instinctively stepping in front of me to protect me. Humiliate you? Seeing Lu Rian so furious, I shot back, are you out of your mind? How exactly did I humiliate you? Lu Rian, I'm the one who was actually humiliated here. I paid for absolutely every single one of your living expenses, while you and Lu Jinian were glued to each other every single day. I trailed behind the two of you like a pathetic servant. I waited on you hand and foot, only to suffer your constant coldness. Are you telling me that wasn't a humiliation? Now, all I was doing was taking back everything I had given her. Yet, in her eyes, this was somehow humiliating her. Lu Rian pursed her lips tightly, glaring at me. Don't think that just because you brought another woman here, you can force me to do anything with you. I will never like you, and I will never, ever be with you. After she snapped at me, she spun around to leave, but ended up totally slamming into the door. I opened the window and watched her storm downstairs. She grabbed her luggage and stormed off without a single ounce of hesitation. She walked away so decisively. Lu Rian had always acted like she was so above it all in front of me, always putting on this incredibly proud front. Even though her family was dirt poor, She acted like she had this unbreakable pride. No matter how well I treated her, she refused to ever bow down to the temptation of money. I used to be totally captivated by that exact trait of hers. But looking back on it now, I just find it absolutely pathetic and ridiculous. Seeing me standing by the window, Li Xia softly called out, "Chen Fan. I'm sorry, should we continue? Or should I just head back for today? You don't really seem to be in a good mood." "No, not at all, I'm actually in a great mood. I was just thinking about my past life. Thinking about all the incredibly stupid things I used to do. I'm definitely not feeling sad over Lu Rian. Seeing the way Lu Rian had acted, I'm actually pretty relieved deep down because at least I don't have to feel so anxious about my future anymore. Staying far away from Lu Rian. In this life, I won't catch that awful disease again, and I definitely won't end up with such a tragic fate, right?" Li Xia said, "I think I'll head back first." As soon as she said that, she turned toward the door. I stepped forward and grabbed her hand. Li Xia froze for a second. She turned around and stared right at me. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I'm no fool. I could tell she was a little upset. Whenever Lu Rian showed up and said those kinds of things, Li Xia would subconsciously try to distance herself from me. Before this, my relationship with Lu Rian was super close. I never once hid my feelings for Lu Rian. I'm afraid everyone, even Li Xia, thought the exact same thing. They all thought I was madly in love with Lu Rian. And sure, there was a time when I truly did love her. If it weren't for that miserable ending in my past life, I probably never would have woken up to the truth. Seeing Li Xia staring at me, I let go of her hand. "Do you have any plans this Saturday? I want to grab a bite at the Royal Court Hotel. Want to come with me? The food there is absolutely incredible. I starved to death in my past life, so right now, I just want to really enjoy myself." If this were the old me, I definitely would have brought Lu Rian along. But now, I'd much rather ask Li Xia out. After all, she is the fiancé my dad picked out for me. As long as I don't do anything stupid after graduation, it's highly likely I'll be marrying Li Xia. I used to think my dad didn't respect my wishes, but looking back on it now, she's just as gorgeous as Lu Rian. Plus, she's beautiful and comes from a fantastic family. If she actually likes me, I'm the one hitting the jackpot here, aren't I? Wait, aren't you going with her? The her she was talking about was Lu Rian. I asked her back, "So, do you really want me to be with her? Do you want me to keep avoiding you like I used to?" "Of course not. Then it's a date. See you on Saturday." On Saturday afternoon, I arrived a little late. When I walked in, I spotted quite a few old friends hanging around the entrance. They were all dressed to the nines. When they saw me walk up, Wang Yan, who is good friends with Lu Jinian, took one look at me and let out a scoff. "Chen Fan, I can't believe you actually have the nerve to show your face here. Why wouldn't I be here? The owner of the Royal Court Hotel happens to be very good friends with my dad. I'm a super VIP here. I can walk in whenever I want. I'd actually love to know why you think I shouldn't be here." Wang Yan sneered, "These past couple of days at school, our campus beauty Lu hasn't even given you the time of day. And now it's her birthday, and you still have the thick skin to crash her party? Lu Rian's birthday? Oh right, today really is her birthday. I've been so buried in classes lately, I didn't even give it a second thought. If they hadn't reminded me, I would have completely forgotten. I had given the hotel staff a heads up beforehand. This year is Lu Rian's 18th birthday. The year she turned 18, I threw her a massive, over-the-top party right here at the Royal Court Hotel. It was incredibly glamorous, but it was also on this exact day that I learned the ugly truth. Chen Fan, can you please stop meddling in my business all the time? After that, I got mad and ignored her, and we ended up giving each other the silent treatment for 2 whole days. But I still couldn't help apologizing to her first, just so she'd marry me. I even did something as stupid as handing over the company my dad left me. Right now, looking at the lively scene in front of me, I didn't want to pay them any attention. Everything for Lu Rian at this hotel was arranged by me. Naturally, I was footing the bill too. But now that I've come to my senses, I'm completely done with her. I can't believe she still dared to bring them here to spend my money. I'm actually curious how she's going to clean up this mess later. I ignored my classmates' mocking remarks and walked straight into the elevator. My reservation with Li Xia was already set. I wondered if she had arrived yet. The moment I stepped out of the elevator, I caught sight of Lu Rian chatting intimately with Lu Jinian. She noticed my arrival immediately. Her eyes instantly locked onto me. "I knew you'd show up. I almost thought you really weren't coming." Lu Rian walked toward me. With a hint of smugness, she teased, "Didn't you say you wouldn't come? Don't think that just because you showed up, I'll forgive you for what you did before. Chen Fan, I'm still mad at you." She was like this every single time, always using her anger to force me into compromising. I looked at her, the corners of my mouth turning up slightly. "Can I help you? Aren't you here for my birthday? Why would I celebrate your birthday? You didn't even invite me, did you? With so many classmates celebrating for you, you surely don't need me there, right?" "Chen Fan, what the hell do you mean?" Lu Rian glared at me with irritation. She thought I was just acting tough, refusing to even cross paths with her on her birthday, and insisting on making her angry. Just then, the restaurant manager walked up to me and said, "Young Master Chen, Has Li Xia arrived? The manager nodded. Yes, she's already here. Please lead the way. Thanks. Just as the manager was about to take me to Li Xia, Lu Rian followed right behind me. Chen Fan, are you done throwing your little tantrum? You're actually looking for Li Xia? Is she just too much of a pushover? I gave her a cold look. You're the one throwing a tantrum here. You told me to stop pestering you, said I was annoying. Well, I'm not pestering you anymore, so what's your problem now? Your friends are still waiting for you. As I spoke, I glanced over at Lu Jinyan, who seemed to want to follow but felt it was inappropriate. Lu Jinyan had never seen Lu Rian act this proactive toward me before. Of course, I knew exactly why Lu Rian was being so forward. It wasn't that she couldn't bear to lose me. She just couldn't bear to lose the cash in my pockets. In the past, she clearly despised me, yet happily enjoyed everything I provided. Her mouth said no to my gifts, but she accepted them with a huge smile anyway. But now that I was ignoring her, she was panicking. After all, she'd spent so long hyping up this birthday party. How could it just end in disaster? If it's because of my relationship with Lu Jinyan, I can keep my distance from him. If I do that, can you please stop making a scene? For the first time ever, she actually chose to back down. It just goes to show how desperate she was to save this birthday party. Yeah, if she didn't care so much about her ego, she wouldn't have faked being a rich heiress at school. And she definitely wouldn't have invited so many people to her birthday party. So she was afraid of losing face too, after being so used to Lu Rian's cold, high and mighty attitude. It was actually pretty amusing to see her compromise today over a birthday party. I found the whole thing quite funny. I gave a slight nod. I know you're celebrating a birthday today and I'd hate to ruin the fun. Right? After saying that, I turned to the manager. I previously booked the Emerald Room here at your restaurant, under the name Lu Rian. The manager checked his records and replied, Yes, young Master Chen. Since today is Miss Lu's birthday, then let them use the room. I finished speaking and looked at Lu Rian. That works for you, right? Seeing me relent, Lu Rian also breathed a sigh of relief. You're doing all this just to tear Lu Jinyan and me apart, aren't you? You just can't stand seeing us together. You're overthinking it. I honestly couldn't care less about who you're with, Lu Rian. Eventually you'll realize that without me, Chen Fan, you are absolutely nothing. The manager stood quietly to the side. Me saying things like that made Lu Rian lose a lot of face. I can't be bothered with you. She turned and walked away decisively. The manager shot me a glance. Then I'll have the staff get the Emerald Room ready. I nodded in response, but remember to make him pay for everything himself before they leave. Nobody walks out until the bill is settled. Understood, young Master Chen. After making all the arrangements, I finally went to find Li Xia. Lu Rian had returned to Lu Jinyan's side. Seeing her dark expression, Lu Jinyan asked, How did it go? What were you guys talking about? Nothing in particular. She glanced at the gentle and caring Lu Jinyan in front of her. I knew that after today's birthday party, she would cut all ties with me and definitely wouldn't give me the time of day ever again. When I walked in, Li Xia was completely focused on flipping through the menu. Suddenly, she heard my footsteps. She looked up and our eyes met. I broke into a warm smile. Have you been waiting long? No, I just got here too. Li Xia's eyes followed me as I naturally took the seat right next to her. She clearly hadn't expected me to sit so close and looked a little uncomfortable. There were plenty of empty seats. I obviously could have sat anywhere else. I didn't notice her awkwardness at the time and just asked, Have you ordered yet? Not yet, I'm still looking. I leaned in close to her arm to look at the menu. Li Xia completely lost her focus and kept stealing glances at me. I'm craving something really spicy. It felt like the intense flavor would remind me that I was still alive. Those freezing, starving, and sleepless nights plagued by illness in my past life had been absolute torture. Even though I've been reborn, sometimes I still have nightmares about being back in that hellish life. The food was a bit too spicy, so I fanned my mouth with my hand. I gently picked up my watermelon juice and took a sip. Li Xia looked at me and asked, Do you like eating spicy food? Yeah, I love it. I like it too. She played along sweetly, picking up her chopsticks to grab some food. In our private room, the servers were standing by. It wasn't long before the owner of the Royal Court Hotel walked in. His name was Zhou Yi. Seeing him, I greeted him politely. Uncle Zhou. Zhou Yi looked at me, flashed a warm smile, and said, Oh, Chen Fan is here too. Hearing that, I immediately understood. He wasn't here for me. Sure enough, Zhou Yi walked right over to Li Xia and addressed her respectfully. Miss Li, welcome to our hotel. It is an honor to have you dining with us. If there's anything at all lacking in our service, please just let me know. He only knew her true identity because he was close friends with my father. Most people had no idea who Li Xia really was, let alone that the precious daughter of the capital's Li family was hiding right here in Cloud City. Li Xia gave a faint nod, then quietly went back to her meal. She was incredibly aloof. I always thought she was a warm person, but seeing her now, I realized Li Xia just really hated talking to people. Zhou Yi stood awkwardly to the side for a moment, even pouring her water himself, but she remained completely silent. That intense stay away from me vibe she gave off completely filled the private room. Eventually, Jo Yi took the hint and politely said, "Well, I'll leave you to your meal, then. Please, take your time and enjoy." "Wait a second, Uncle Joe." I called out, stopping him in his tracks. Hearing my voice, he paused and turned back around. "Young Master Chen, is there anything else you need?" His smile was incredibly warm. He just seemed like such a genuinely good guy, which was why I always liked him. But, if my memory served me right, in my past life. On the third day of Lu Rian's birthday banquet, a massive fire suddenly broke out at the Royal Court Hotel. It was caused by terrible fire safety standards in the kitchen. When the fire started, they found out the extinguishers were completely useless. That fire even ended up causing tragic casualties. And because of that disaster, the Royal Court, which used to be the absolute best hotel in Cloud City, completely collapsed and never recovered. I had heard that Jo Yi even fell severely ill from the stress of it all. I looked right at him and asked, "Are you absolutely sure there aren't any issues with the fire safety in your hotel?" Startled by my sudden question, Jo Yi looked at me in surprise. "Why the sudden interest in that, young Master Chen?" "I just have a feeling. You really should have someone do a thorough inspection," I urge. "Especially around the kitchen area." "Oh, don't worry about that. Our hotel's fire safety is absolutely flawless. Nothing will go wrong, I promise you. We take full responsibility for our guests' safety." I just stared at him quietly. "Uncle Joe, why don't you go check it yourself, just in case?" Seeing how stubbornly persistent I was, a flash of annoyance crossed Jo Yi's face. He stared at me and snapped, "What exactly are you trying to say?" "Young Master Chen, are you saying you don't trust my word? Your father and I are very close friends. He knows exactly what kind of man I am. I run my business with a perfectly clean conscience. Questioning me like this is an insult to my character. I was about the same age as his own son. So in his eyes, I was just some clueless kid. What could I possibly know about running a business?" Right then, Li Xia spoke up. Since he brought it up, it wouldn't hurt to go take a look, would it? Ever since Jo Yi had walked into the room, she hadn't said a single word to him until now. No matter what he asked, she just gave him a quick word or two in response. But since she was the one asking, Jo Yi totally respected her wishes. "Alright, I'll get right on it." Li Xia was very composed, and with her status, even though she was actually around my age, her words somehow carried a lot more weight. After Jo Yi left, I couldn't help but look at Li Xia in surprise. "Why did you help me?" I just casually brought it up. I did know a lot of things, but from Li Xia's perspective, she shouldn't have known any of this at all. Hearing my question, Li Xia replied, "Since you asked, isn't it only natural for me to help you? Aren't you worried I'm just making things up?" "So what if you are?" Li Xia said, "Even if it's just a joke. It's not a big deal. It just means making him run an errand." She sounded completely calm as she said this, but as I looked at her, an overwhelming sense of warmth flooded my heart. It was that feeling of being deeply trusted. I thought back to the moment I was diagnosed with AIDS. No one wanted to believe I was a victim. They all said I was messing around behind their backs. If I had actually been sleeping around, I would have accepted it. Everyone was pointing fingers at me. They looked at me with pure disgust. I even started to hate myself. But I never would have guessed that it was Lu Rian. She deliberately had someone prick me with a needle used by an AIDS patient. She wanted to use it as an excuse to avoid marrying me. Only the person who framed you knows exactly how innocent you truly are. Li Xia and I ate for a long time. Even after we finished, we didn't leave. I had brought my homework along, so I took the chance to get it done. And Li Xia could help tutor me while we were at it. We stayed there together right until the evening, when Lu Rian's birthday party ended and they were getting ready to leave. Everyone was stopped, because Lu Rian hadn't paid the bill. Lu Rian gave me a call. I ignored the first one. Sitting next to me, Li Xia watched me. Not going to answer? I knew exactly who was calling, so I didn't care. It wasn't until Lu Rian called 2 more times that I finally picked up. "Chen Fan, what the hell is your problem?" Over the phone, Lu Rian's voice was seething with absolute rage. But the angrier she got, the better I felt. Sure, I didn't want anything to do with her anymore, but I still had to get payback for what she did to me in my past life. Otherwise, I could never swallow that resentment. I smirked and said, "Oh, Miss School Beauty. What's wrong? Why so angry? Get over here and pay the bill." Lu Rian lowered her voice and hissed, "Don't cause trouble for me." She originally thought that once the party ended and she left, we would never have to interact again. But she never expected me to play her like this. Now, she had no money to pay up. Everyone had been held back and they were all just waiting on her. I said, "That's so weird. It's your birthday and I didn't even go. Why on earth would I pay the bill? Why don't you just split it with our classmates? You guys can just pool the money together and pay. They all treat you so well anyway. You guys seem really tight and you even treat them to dinner all the time." I used to give Lu Rian over 100 grand a month in pocket money. Lu Rian took it with zero guilt, genuinely believing the tutoring fees she earned were entirely deserved. She played the big spender too, taking everyone out for meals left and right. Everyone thought Lu Rian was absolutely loaded, so they were more than happy to suck up to her. But the money she was blowing through was actually mine. Chen Fan, do you really have to do this? What the hell will it take for you to come over and pay the bill? If you are begging for a favor, you should at least act like it, right? What do you say? Through the phone, I could hear Lu Rian let out a furious, heavy breath. I wasn't blindly simping for her like I used to. She was absolutely pissed, of course. A smirk crept onto my face. Not willing to? Fine, then. I am hanging up. Please. Lu Rian gritted her teeth, gripping her phone tight. They were currently blocked by the hotel staff, completely unable to leave. I hung up the phone and got to my feet. Then, I told Li Xia, I need to step out for a sec, and made my way over to the Emerald Room. All the classmates who came to the birthday bash were still in there. They were stuck right where they stood. All eyes were locked on Lu Rian, waiting for her to pay. The vibe instantly became incredibly awkward. Trapped with no way out, Lu Rian could only stand there in frustrated despair. Soaking up everyone's stares, right as I walked in, the manager approached and greeted me with utmost respect. Mr. Chen, I took a look around the circle of people. Every single one of them was dressed to kill. Just this afternoon, they were all looking down their noses at me. But this time around, nobody had that arrogant attitude anymore. After all, nothing is more humiliating than being trapped. Dead broke and unable to pay the bill. What is going on with everyone? Isn't this our lovely campus Queen Lu's birthday bash? You all don't look very happy. I purposely stared Lu Rian up and down. Her face was darker than anyone else's in the room. Lu Jinian was standing off to the side, looking utterly clueless about the whole situation. This Miss Lu has not settled the bill. I am simply asking them to pay up. Is that all? That is no big deal. No need to make such a scene. They are all my classmates. I will cover the bill tonight. After saying that, I handed my card over. The manager took it and went to run the charge. The looks everyone gave me instantly grew complicated. Lu Rian was celebrating her own birthday, yet she actually called me over to foot the bill. What the hell was going on? Could she not afford to pay it herself? Lu Rian felt her face burning with shame. She glared at me. No wonder I had showed up so easily. It turned out my only goal was to humiliate her. To let the whole room know she was a broke loser who survived on my handouts. I obviously could have handled paying the bill quietly behind the scenes. But instead, I made a massive spectacle of it, making sure to swipe the card right in front of everybody. This guy is absolutely insane. A moment later, the manager finished running the credit card. Then he handed the card and the receipt back to me. Mr. Chen, it is all set. Here is your receipt. I glanced over the bill and deliberately read the total out loud. 860,000. Lu Rian, happy birthday. Since it's your birthday this year, I'll cover this bill for you. But there won't be a next time, I said, shooting a warning glance at Lu Jinian. Lu Jinian stood right next to me, his face already turning a sickly, ashen gray. Wait, what's going on? Is all of Lu Rian's money actually from Chen Fan? Isn't she supposed to be some rich heiress? The scene unfolding right in front of them was honestly just too much of a brutal reality check for everyone. Wang Yan stepped forward and glared at me. Chen Fan, are you kidding me? Just because Lu Rian's money is kept with you, that makes it yours? You're just the kid of her family's servants. You're just holding onto it for her. What exactly are you feeling so smug about? I retorted, does your family let the servants hold onto their money? I looked right at Wang Yan and let out a soft chuckle. Since you're claiming that I'm the son of Lu Rian's servants, let me tell you right now, I'm not. Her father was actually my family's chauffeur. That day at the school gates, he left me stranded and drove off with Lu Rian and Lu Jinian. He's been fired now, by the way. If you guys don't believe me, why don't you go ahead and ask Lu Rian herself? Saying that, I turned my gaze toward her. Well, campus beauty Lu? What do you say? She just glared at me, her eyes burning with absolute resentment. In all her life, no matter how poor she actually was, she had never suffered humiliation like this. Now, everyone was treating her like an absolute joke. But unfortunately for her, she couldn't say a single word. After all, I could very easily take my money back and just leave her stranded here to pay the bill. She completely ignored me, turned on her heel, and stormed out. Lu Jinian witnessed the whole thing. He quickly hurried out right after her. The whole situation was just painfully awkward to watch. But he really had no choice but to leave. He just absolutely never expected that she was actually a chauffeur's daughter. So why on earth had she been pretending to be some rich heiress all this time? Once the two of them were gone, I swept my gaze over everyone left in the room. Alright, the show's over. You guys can all head out now. Be careful on your way home, everyone. It's getting pretty late. The crowd began filing out of the Jade Hall. After watching them leave, I finally stepped out of the hall myself. The manager personally escorted me toward the main entrance and saw me all the way to the elevators. Just then, Li Xia happened to walk over as well. The two of us stepped into the elevator together. I didn't say a single word this time. It was dead quiet, even though I had finally cleared up my identity in front of everyone back there. I really didn't feel all that happy about it, compared to all the absolute misery I've been put through over the years. Giving Lu Rian such a tiny slap on the wrist, it didn't even come close to wiping away the deep anger inside me. Seeing how totally silent I was, Li Xia didn't try to bother me either. We finally reached the ground floor, only to see that Joe Yi was there too. The moment he saw me, he rushed right over. Chen Fan. But this time, his attention wasn't on Li Xia. It was entirely on me. Uncle Joe, I greeted. Joe Yi tightly grabbed my hands. Xiao Fan, I can't thank you enough. If it weren't for you, our hotel would be in massive trouble right now. I just went and did a personal inspection and honestly, I found so many critical issues. It's all my cousin's fault for screwing things up. I've already sent him packing. As he should be, Joe Yi replied, before asking curiously. How did you know our hotel had fire safety issues? That question actually caught me off guard. I had to come up with a random excuse on the spot. I dreamt about it last night. Hearing my answer, Joe Yi couldn't help but laugh out loud. Alright, I won't ask anymore. Oh, by the way, I had someone prepare a little something for you too. Saying that, he had his assistant bring over the gifts. 2 small presents neatly packed in bags. Thank you so much. If you ever need a favor in the future, just say the word. He clearly knew how big of a favor he owed me. Joe Yi then walked us to the door. The Li family's car had already pulled up. I sat inside, staring blankly out the window. At this hour, there weren't many people walking around, but there was still plenty of traffic. We hit a bit of a traffic jam. Normally, whenever Li Xia and I were together, we'd talk non-stop. But this time, it was unusually quiet. Li Xia didn't bother me either. She was probably wondering how on earth I managed to predict that the Royal Court Hotel had fire safety issues. Logically speaking, there's no way I should know more about the hotel than Joe Yi himself. And as for what happened in the Emerald Room, she had heard about that, too. Today was actually Lu Rian's birthday, yet I didn't go keep her company and chose to stay right here with Xia instead. And if that wasn't enough, I even ended up thoroughly humiliating Lu Rian. I really wanted to cut ties with Lu Rian for good. So, this disappointed look on my face right now, what was that even for? To be honest, I only felt gloomy for a split second. And then the sadness just washed away, because I knew I had been given a second chance at life. Everything could still be fixed, as long as I didn't repeat the same stupid mistakes from my past life. It wasn't too late to change things. With that comforting thought, a heavy wave of exhaustion hit me. Studying so hard every single day lately had really drained me. I felt so groggy, like I could sleep for days. My eyelids were already drooping. Before I knew it, I had leaned over and drifted off to sleep resting on Li Xia's shoulder. Li Xia instantly froze, not daring to move a muscle. By the time we arrived at the Chen estate, her arm was already aching, but she was still too afraid to shift her position. She was so scared of waking me up that she just stayed frozen like a statue. Miss, we're here. Li Xia glanced out the window, then her eyes softly fell back onto my face. She hesitated, wondering if she should wake me up. Just then, the driver had already stepped out of the car and was waiting quietly outside. But Li Xia still didn't wake me up. I could feel that the car had stopped. So I woke up and blinked out the window. When it hit me that we were already back home, I finally looked up at Li Xia. She was just sitting there perfectly still, not even daring to make eye contact with me. I gently rubbed my stiff neck and sat up straight. We're already here? Li Xia nodded. Then why didn't you wake me up? You just looked so peaceful sleeping. Whenever she spoke, her face was always completely blank. I looked at her, and noticed her ears were turning bright red. It reminded me of how incredibly innocent she was, but I never expected her to be so shy. Hearing me softly call her name, she looked at me. I asked her, "Are you scared of me?" "No." "Then why don't you look at me? When we're together, you act like you really hate me." Li Xia cleared her throat lightly. "I'm just not used to being so close to anyone. You're the first." Hearing her say that, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Then why didn't you tell me to keep my distance?" Hearing my words, Li Xia, as if trying to prove she wasn't letting me string her along, asked, "Why did you and Lu Rian break up? Didn't you really like her?" At the mention of her, I froze for a second. Looking out at the empty street ahead, I just realized I don't have feelings for her anymore. It's no big deal. I'm heading back. I had just stepped out of the car. Right at that moment, the front gate of the Chen family mansion slowly opened. My dad, Chen Qingming, walked to the door. The moment I saw my dad, my eyes completely lit up. "You're finally back." Chen Qingming was usually swamped with work. I was almost always home alone. We had plenty of servants in the house, but not many could actually keep me in line. Even worse, even my dad completely spoiled me and rarely disciplined me. He always figured that as long as I was happy, everything was fine. Being doted on by my dad gave me the most carefree days of my life. It was just that, in my past life, my dad had warned me to stop obsessing over Lu Rian, but I just wouldn't listen. Seeing him come home again this time, at first, he looked really serious, trying to put on a tough, fatherly act. But who would have thought I'd suddenly pull a stunt like this? And actually burst into tears. Chen Qingming panicked instantly. He gently patted my shoulder. "What's wrong, son? Did someone bully you? Was it that brat, Lu Rian? I heard you fired both her and her dad." I hugged my dad tightly. "It's nothing. I just missed you. You silly kid. Usually, if I even try calling you a couple of times, you just complain that I'm being annoying." Oh, right, is that the Lee family's car? Lee Xia had already stepped out of the vehicle. My eyes were totally red and I felt pretty embarrassed letting her see me like this. Lee Xia brought me home. We went out to grab dinner tonight. Chen Qingming glanced at me, looking a little caught off guard. Back when he had brought up the engagement, I fought him tooth and nail on it. I'd even sworn I would absolutely never have anything to do with Lee Xia. Yet here we were, hanging out together, even though he had no idea what had gotten into his son. Chen Qingming still turned to Lee Xia and said, Xia, come inside and sit down for a bit. Hello, Uncle Chen, I think I'll pass on coming in. I should head back for today. She shot me a glance, then turned around and got back into the car. The Lee family's car drove off, and only then did I follow my dad back inside the house. Don't tell me Lee Xia picked on you? He asked, seeing my red, teary eyes and how pitiful I looked. I shook my head and denied it. No, she didn't. She treats me pretty well. I sat down on the sofa. I noticed my dad kept looking at me. He still looked so young. Of course, he wasn't exactly old when he passed away later on. It's just that I always remember how aged he seemed when he finally left us. My dad, Chen Qingming, kept questioning me over and over, and only relaxed when he was absolutely certain Lu Rian hadn't bullied me. Sunday morning, right after I woke up, Uncle Joe came to tell me that Lu Rian was here. The memories from last night flooded my mind. We had completely fallen out. Lu Rian should know damn well that I'm not going to put up with her bullshit anymore. I really didn't expect her to show up here. I went downstairs and saw that it wasn't just Lu Rian. Her father was there too. Uncle Lu was sitting on the sofa, saying to my dad, Mr. Chen, it's all my Rian's fault for being so foolish. I've already scolded her. She will never, ever bully Chen Fan again. My dad frowned. Who gave you the right to call my son by his first name? He had been sick of that father and daughter for a long time. If he hadn't been so terrified of me cutting ties with him, he never would have tolerated them in our house. Uncle Lu immediately realized he had misspoken, and quickly corrected himself. I mean, the young master. Seeing me coming down the stairs, he quickly turned his attention to me. Good morning, young master. I brought Rian here today specifically to apologize to you. I turned to look at Lu Rian. She was just sitting there, looking completely miserable and keeping her mouth shut. Apologize? Yeah, right. I seriously doubt she's here to apologize. Disgust was written all over her face. It was so obvious she was still holding a grudge about last night. Why would she ever apologize to me? What are you talking about, Uncle Lu? Rian didn't do anything to offend me, so there's no need for any apologies. But, I heard you fired her. Even when Uncle Lu himself got fired, he wasn't this panicked. After all, his monthly salary was basically nothing, despite working from dawn to dusk. But it was different for Lu Rian. She just had to tutor me, and she'd make a ton of money. Hell, he probably thought the entire Chen family wealth would be hers one day. Now that things had completely blown up between us, there was no way Uncle Lu was going to just accept it. As for her tutoring me, my grades have only been getting worse these past few years, and Rian herself feels like she isn't right for the job anymore. I'm just too stupid, and she can't get through to me. So, I figured I'd just grant her wish, and let her go. Really, there's no bad blood between us, and nobody did anything wrong. So please, drop the whole apology thing. My dad gave me a sideways glance, seeing how incredibly calm I was. As I said all this, he looked surprised. Before, I was absolutely obsessed with her, begging him to let her be my tutor, and he had no choice but to give in. And now, I was the one firing her? He looked a little shocked, but also kind of touched. His son was finally growing up. I need to get to class, and I need to eat. After that, my dad had the guards escort the two of them out. Once I finished breakfast, I walked out the front door. The driver was already waiting for me in the courtyard. I got in, and as the car pulled out of the estate, I saw Lu Rian still standing by the gates. Her dad was right there with her. Gone was that pathetic, humble act he put on inside the house. Uncle Lu raised his hand and slapped her hard across the face. I knew all about Lu Rian's miserable background. Her dad was a hardcore gambling addict. Her mother couldn't take it anymore and ran off, leaving Lu Rian behind. She's been living with her dad all these years. Her school fees were all borrowed from relatives. Later on, as she got a little older, she had to figure things out herself. Honestly, given her situation, it's amazing she managed to keep her grades up. She was always ranked number 1 in the whole school. Because of that, my heart really ached for her, and I took extra good care of her. I gave her the best of everything, just wanting her to have a slightly better life. Too bad, while I poured my heart out for her, she never cared about me at all. She just treated me like a walking ATM, and I certainly wasn't the guy in her heart. I snapped out of my thoughts and headed straight to school. Thanks to the drama yesterday, everyone's attitude towards me seemed a whole lot friendlier. Kids in my class were actually coming up to chat with me. Hey, Chen Fan, is your family really that loaded? Wait, so that means all of Lu Rian's money came from you? We totally thought she was some rich heiress. You guys already knew that, didn't you? Yeah, we just thought it was so weird. Hey, rich boy, why don't you give me a chance? I promise I'd be way sweeter than Lu Rian ever was. I stared at the girl saying this. Hearing her say that, I just couldn't help but laugh out loud. Right at that moment, Lu Rian walked in. Just because I rejected you, you treat me like this? Chen Fan, even pulling stunts like this, Lu Rian, I'm never going to like you. A loser with terrible grades like you, who only relies on his family's money. Expecting the whole world to revolve around you? You aren't even worth Lu Jinian's pinky finger. Hearing her bring that up, the crowd was suddenly reminded that I was dead last in class. So not only was I Lu Rian's pathetic simp, I was also a complete idiot. Before I could say a word, she brought up last night's birthday party. You were the one who forced me to invite everyone. I didn't even want to be there. But then you deliberately humiliated our classmates. Do you think just because you're rich, you can just toy with people's dignity? And don't you dare twist the truth, saying you supported me? That money was just my fee for tutoring you. I won't take another dime from you ever again. But don't you ever expect my help, either. After spitting out that little speech, she immediately traded seats with someone else. Acting like she absolutely wanted nothing to do with me, she was back to playing the aloof, untouchable genius. She had always been like this. Oh, but I hadn't forgotten how pathetic she looked begging for my help last night. At first, when I saw her dad beating her, I actually felt a little sorry for her. But looking at her now, it feels like she got exactly what was coming to her. I wasn't about to coddle her anymore. Tutoring? Lu Rian, you actually have the nerve to bring up tutoring? Ever since you started tutoring me, aside from blowing through my cash, have you actually done your damn job? Me ranking dead last in class every single month is the direct result of your tutoring. Lu Rian stared at me, totally deadpan, and said, I told you a long time ago that you're just too stupid. What does that have to do with me? Chen Fan, since you've got so much money, why don't you go buy yourself a new brain? The moment she said that, everyone else burst out laughing. I glared at her smug, self-righteous face and shot back. Are you sure it's me being stupid? And not your garbage teaching methods? Lu Rian thought about Li Xia. She already knew that I had asked Xia to tutor me. She scoffed lightly. Well, since that's the case, let's make a bet. During the next monthly exam, let me see what you get. You don't even need to improve that much. As long as you can bump up your ranking by 100 places, I'll admit I was the problem. She really wanted to see if Li Xia could actually teach me anything. After all, she thought I was completely brain dead. Sure, I stared right back at her. She only asked me to go up by 100 places. She didn't even set the bar that high. That alone showed just how much she looked down on me. Seeing that I had agreed, Lu Rian turned to the crowd and announced, you all heard him. He agreed to it himself. If he manages to climb 100 spots in the next monthly exam, I, Lu Rian, will punish myself by running 10 kilometers. Wow, everyone immediately turned to look at her. Their faces were filled with pure excitement. Wang Yan shot me a look. Since the school idol is putting 10 kilometers on the line, how about you run 10 kilometers if you lose, too? But really, Chen Fan, do you even have the stamina for that? If you're too scared, just be a good boy and give up right now. Bring it on. Jumping 100 spots isn't even that hard anyway. Especially after studying with Li Xia these past few days. The way she explains things makes so much sense to me. I could literally feel myself getting better, so I agreed without hesitation. Besides, it was a good way to push myself. After all, you need a goal to stay motivated. Seeing me act so tough, Lu Rian couldn't hold back a scoff. What an idiot. Then she sat back down. She genuinely didn't expect me to accept the bet. Back when she was tutoring me, I'd usually just stare blankly at whatever she asked. She already knew exactly how awful my grades were. Now, she was just eagerly waiting to watch me suffer through a 10-kilometer run. Right after they locked in the bet, Lu Jinian appeared at the doorway. He had heard every single word Lu Rian just said. He had been feeling completely miserable all night, but suddenly, everything just clicked for him. Lu Rian wasn't just a top-tier student, she was absolutely gorgeous. Even if she didn't come from money, she was so incredibly driven and hardworking. Didn't that make her 100 times better than a useless loser like Chen Fan? Even if she only had her own skills to rely on in the future, she was absolutely going to make it big. With that thought in mind, he walked right up to her. Lu Rian, so what if your dad is just a driver? He's making an honest living with his own two hands. Besides, your grades have always been at the very top. Even though you don't come from a wealthy family, it must have been incredibly hard for you to get this far, right? I'll always be right here, supporting you no matter what. The moment Lu Jinian said that, any classmate who had ever doubted Lu Rian was instantly moved to tears. Looking at her now, she had always been a star student. People admired her not because of any wealthy background, but because she truly excelled in both character and academics. But then there was me, Chen Fan. Not only was I a lazy slacker, but I still had the nerve to demand she go out with me. He has absolutely no shame. Because of Lu Rian's harsh words, now everyone in class just saw me as a total loser. I had finally managed to shake off the label of being a desperate simp and the servant's son. But now, thanks to my terrible grades, no one even wanted to talk to me anymore. Not that I cared anyway. Compared to the utter loneliness and despair of my past life, their petty high school drama was absolutely nothing. After all, this time, I still had my wealth and parents who truly loved me. I just focused on my classes. I couldn't be bothered to deal with them anymore. After school, my dad drove over with my mom to pick me up. They're both in their 40s now, but back in the day, they were the absolute stars of their campus. And honestly, their aura is still just as stunning. My mom stepped out of the car, and the second she saw me, she pulled me into a warm hug, then sweetly opened the car door for me. Lu Rian and Lu Jinian had just walked out of the school gates and witnessed the whole thing unfold. The classmates walking with them saw me with an older woman, and couldn't hide their curiosity. That woman looks like she's in her 40s, right? What's her deal with Chen Fan? The others immediately started whispering. I knew there was no way Chen Fan was actually some rich heir. And here I thought he was such a big shot. Lu Rian didn't even bother to clear things up for me. Lu Jinian glanced at her, and seeing her stay quiet, he figured everyone had hit the nail on the head. Suddenly, a wave of relief washed over him. Sure, my grades were complete garbage, but since I came from a wealthy family and could casually blow hundreds of thousands in a single night, Lu Jinian had always held a grudge, feeling like he was inherently inferior to me. But now, his ego was instantly restored. At least he would never stoop so low and do something so shameless. He was going to rely on his own blood, sweat, and tears to achieve his dreams. And one day, he would have everything that I had. Lu Jinian and Lu Rian hopped onto the bus, and she spoke up. I won't be walking you home today. Since she could no longer make money by tutoring me, she had picked up a part-time job. Her deadbeat dad had racked up a mountain of gambling debts, and had always snatched away her hard-earned cash. Now, she had to figure out how to support herself. Lu Jinian simply nodded. Meanwhile, my parents took me to buy a brand new phone and then brought me out for a nice dinner. By the time we arrived at the restaurant, Li Xia was already there waiting. She lived in Yuncheng with her uncle, who happened to be very close friends with my dad, Chen Qingming. This was considered the first official meeting between our two families. My dad had been dying to set this up for ages, but I used to throw a massive fit over it since I only had eyes for Lu Rian. Because of that, this dinner kept getting pushed back. But today, seeing that I actually agreed to show up, my dad's heart was absolutely bursting with pride. His son had finally grown up, and was finally willing to listen to him. During the meal, he and Li Xia's uncle hit it off and chatted happily. I sat right next to her, and brought up the bet I made with the others about boosting my rank by 100 places. After I finished spilling the details, she didn't make a big deal out of it. She just softly acknowledged it. I couldn't quite read her expression. Do you think I'm being too reckless? Like the pressure's gonna crush me? Li Xia turned to look at me after hearing my words. So, do you think I have a shot? Even though I've actually been understanding all the problems you've explained to me lately. Don't worry, Li Xia said, looking right into my eyes. Just leave it all to me. Besides, you're actually pretty smart. You're definitely not as dumb as other people claim you are. The other people she mentioned was obviously Lu Rian. Back when Lu Rian used to call me stupid, Li Xia hadn't said a word, but she clearly kept it in mind. A huge smile broke out on my face when I heard that. Hearing you say that takes a huge load off my mind. I'll be putting you through a lot of hard work for a while, then. It's my pleasure. As we were chatting away, I suddenly realized that the private room had gone dead silent. I glanced over, only to realize that my dad and Li Xia's uncle were both staring right at me. It was a bit awkward. Dad, why are you looking at me like that? Oh, nothing. You two carry on. Chen Qingming went back to chatting with Li Xia's uncle, but he couldn't help sighing to himself. They really do get along quite well, even though I was the one who arranged this fiancé for him. Why'd I feel like my own brat is getting snatched away? After lunch, my dad and Chi Cheng had some business to discuss, so Li Xia and I headed out first. We didn't go straight home. Instead, we found a cozy little cafe. I was craving some ice cream, so I went to get some. After ordering, I walked back and sat down next to Li Xia. The two of us went back to discussing our study questions. At this point, my mind was completely packed with what we learned in class. After all, running 10 kilometers is still gonna take half my life when the time comes. Here is your order. The waiter had brought our stuff over super fast. I looked up and saw the person standing in front of me in a server's uniform. It was none other than Lu Rian. I stared at her, completely caught off guard. What are you doing here? Lu Rian shot me a freezing glare. I should be the one asking you that. You knew I was working here, and you came here just to disgust me, didn't you? Even though I was treating her with complete indifference now, Lu Rian was still convinced that I was secretly in love with her. She thought I was just playing hard to get. Otherwise, why would I show up exactly where she was working part-time? How else could I have followed her right to the door? There is no way it's just a coincidence. You're overthinking it. It's purely a coincidence. Lu Rian shot Li Xia a dirty look, then turned away without lingering. She stormed off, clearly not wanting to waste another second on us. Watching her act so damn arrogant, I honestly couldn't understand what she felt so smug about. I turned back and handed the ice cream to Li Xia, but she declined. You eat it, she said softly, reaching over to pick up my backpack for me. Then, we walked out of the cafe together. To be honest, I had planned to hang out there a bit longer. But bumping into Lu Rian completely ruined the mood. Over the next couple of weeks, I studied my absolute heart out every single day. Li Xia came over to my house often to tutor me, and my grades improved massively. But whenever Lu Rian caught me studying so hard, she just couldn't resist mocking me. Chen Fan, if you're starting to regret your choices, it is still not too late to give up. Otherwise, when the test results come out, don't come crying to me. I snapped back, look, you are being way too loud. I frowned and immediately shoved my earbuds back in. The monthly exams finally wrapped up, and I was in an incredibly good mood. I rushed straight home, eager and excited. Even though the scores weren't out yet, I felt like I had absolutely crushed it. Li Xia was sitting out in the yard, sipping tea and hanging out with Da Bai. Man, Da Bai is getting chunkier by the day. I walked over, gave Da Bai a big hug, and asked Li Xia, "You're here super early today." "I'm pretty early every day, aren't I?" "I'm just curious, don't you have any extracurriculars at school?" Lu Rian was also a top student at their school. She and Lu Jinian used to have a ton of things going on every single day, but compared to them, Li Xia seems a lot more laid back. Every time I get back, she's already here. I'm pretty free. They don't really keep tabs on me. So there aren't any school activities you have to go to? I usually don't join them. Not even the student council? Li Xia shook her head. Sometimes I'll enter a competition, but I usually don't show up. Why not? Because it's boring, and the teachers think it's just completely unfair to the others. It makes the other students lose their confidence. But, I feel like I've seen you in quite a few competitions before. Like those ones Lu Rian entered recently. She said you were there every single time. You even handed her very first loss. So she absolutely hates your guts. Li Xia picked up her cup, and quietly took a sip of water. She usually wouldn't miss a single competition that had Lu Rian in it. I was dying to know what my score would be, so I checked my answers with Li Xia out in the courtyard. Finding out I got a ton of them right, put me in a really great mood. When the results came out, our homeroom teacher walked into the classroom. He gave his usual praise to Lu Rian and Lu Jinian. Those two took first and second place again. After praising them, the teacher added, "But this time, I want to give a special shout out to one more person. That person is Chen Fan." Hearing that, I immediately perked right up. Lu Rian shot me a glance, her eyes completely full of pure mockery. The teacher continued, "Chen Fan actually did incredibly well on this test. He used to be dead last, but he's made a massive improvement this time. His score has actually pushed him into the top 200 of the entire grade. If he keeps working this hard, he'll definitely get a great score on the college entrance exams. Top 200. Hearing that, everyone's eyes went wide with absolute shock. Even Lu Rian froze for a second. She'd figured it would be a miracle if I even moved up 100 spots. But now I'd somehow broken into the top 200. Honestly, I didn't expect to jump up this much either. It was something I wouldn't have even dared to dream of. Maybe it was because I suffered so much in my past life that I don't even care about messing around anymore. So I guess paying super close attention in class really paid off. I listened seriously to every single lecture, and then went back to review everything with Li Xia. Plus, Li Xia is an amazing tutor. Even the hardest questions, once she broke them down, instantly became so much simpler. The facts were right there to prove it. As long as you put in the work, it eventually pays off. "Sir, are you sure you didn't make a mistake? Chen Fan's grades were completely awful before. How could he possibly?" "Of course I didn't make a mistake." The teacher looked right over at me. His face was totally calm. He used to be so frustrated having a student drag down the whole class average. It honestly really bothered him. But who would have thought my grades would shoot up this much? Finally getting some real validation from our teacher felt absolutely amazing. I looked over at Lu Rian, who was quietly staring at me, and said, "How about that? Didn't you say I was stupid? Don't forget about that 10-kilometer run." Lu Rian pursed her lips. She genuinely couldn't understand it. He was so horribly dumb, how did he improve this much? Is Li Xia really that incredible of a tutor? After school, Lu Rian was begrudgingly forced to run her 10 kilometers. I didn't head home either. I specifically stayed behind just to watch her suffer. I sat quietly on the sidelines, glancing over at her. Seeing her totally humbled like that, a sudden, undeniable rush of satisfaction bubbled up inside me. God, it felt so incredibly good. Meanwhile, Lu Jinian was quietly observing me from the side. Furious that I had suddenly become so cold-hearted, Wang Yan shot me a nasty glare. She whispered to Lu Jinian, "It's just the top 200. What's the big deal? Acting like he got first place or something." Even our school beauty, Lu, wasn't this smug when she got first place. Our Lu Jinian even got second place, you know. Lu Jinian's gaze fell softly upon Lu Rian. He said in a calm, flat tone, "A bet is a bet. You have to accept defeat. Rian isn't a sore loser." Exactly. So what if his grades are good now? At the end of the day, isn't he just, don't gossip about people? Lu Jinian, you're just way too nice. Wang Yan gently patted Lu Jinian's shoulder. By the time Lu Rian finished running her 10 kilometers, the sky was already turning dark. She walked back, completely drenched in sweat. She glared at me and snapped, "Are you satisfied now?" I nodded and said, "Good work out there. Feel free to bet against me again next time." With that, I stood up and happily left the campus. Lu Rian watched my back as I walked away. In that moment, I was in a fantastic mood, even skipping a little bit as I went. In her mind, I had always been nothing but a pathetic simp, but now, I couldn't even be bothered to look at her. Thinking about me and Li Xia, she wondered, is he really going to be with Li Xia from now on? He and Li Xia both come from good families, they are a perfect match for each other. What if he really ends up with Li Xia? When that thought popped into her head, Lu Rian found herself feeling deeply unsettled, like something that belonged to her had just been stolen away. "Rian?" Seeing her staring blankly in my direction, Lu Jinian spoke up. "Are you exhausted? Here, have some water." He casually handed over a bottle of water. Lu Rian reached out and took it. "Thanks." In front of Lu Jinian, she always made sure to appear perfectly polite. Lu Jinian said, "You must be tired. It is pretty weird, though. Chen Fan's grades were always so bad before. How did he suddenly improve this much? He probably cheated. I bet he did it just to make our school beauty lose." "That's exactly why he cheated. I mean, Rian used to tutor him every single day, and his grades were still garbage. So how could he just magically jump up so high?" "You always have something to say." Lu Jinian shot Wang Yan a warning glance. "You can't just throw accusations around without proof. If he comes looking for trouble, you're the one who'll have to deal with the consequences." Wang Yan sneered, "I'm telling the teacher tomorrow." Meanwhile, I took a ride back home. I couldn't wait to share the good news with Li Xia. After all, making Lu Rian admit defeat. That was partly thanks to Li Xia's help too, but Uncle Joe told me that Miss Xia didn't come over today. Feeling a little bummed out, I turned around and went to change my clothes. Then, I headed to the dining room to eat. My dad had been out of town lately, so I had the whole house to myself. I dialed Li Xia's number. Li Xia was taking a swim at her house. Her maid softly reminded her, "Miss, you have a phone call." The girl in the pool seemed not to hear. The maid added another sentence. "It's a call from Chen Fan." Instantly, Li Xia popped her head out of the water. She gracefully climbed up onto the edge of the pool as the maid quickly hurried over. Holding a plush towel to gently wrap around her shoulders, Li Xia picked up the phone, and the cold seriousness on her face vanished in an instant. With a gentle expression, I asked, "Are you busy right now? I hope I'm not bothering you?" "I was just swimming. I heard you didn't come over today, so I thought I'd give you a call to chat about something." I laughed and said, "My grades improved so much this time. I actually made it into the top 200. Did you know? Lu Rian ran 10 kilometers today." Seeing her get totally humiliated in that moment was just so satisfying. Li Xia gently walked over to a nearby lounge chair and patiently listened to me share my excitement. A little while later, I asked curiously, "Are you listening?" "I'm listening. Congratulations. My call didn't interrupt you, did it?" "Not at all. I happen to be free right now. You've been coming over every day lately to tutor me. You must be exhausted. How about you take 2 days off? I can study by myself for a bit. If I need anything, I'll just ask you on QQ, alright?" Li Xia, I didn't rush to hang up. "You sound a little down. Did something happen? Do you need my help with anything?" That sentence caught her completely off guard. Li Xia thought to herself, I didn't think I was acting any differently from usual. But surprisingly, he could actually tell through the phone that I wasn't in a good mood. Seeing her stay quiet, I said, "I know you don't like to talk about it when something's wrong. Keeping your feelings hidden away. But Li Xia, we're basically comrades now, right? You've helped me out so much. I want to help you too. If she hadn't been tutoring me, I absolutely never would have gotten such great grades. And I can't just selfishly take all her help and effort for granted. Especially since she doesn't even need the money." When Li Xia heard my words, especially when I called us comrades, she helplessly curved her lips into a smile and said, "All right." The next day, I got to school, only for our homeroom teacher to walk in with a grim expression. She stood at the podium, looking absolutely furious. Her entire body gave off an intense, oppressive aura. Her eyes locked dead onto me. "You, stand up right now." I stood up. I stared at the teacher in total confusion. She said, "Someone reported you to me for cheating on this monthly exam. Do you have anything to say for yourself?" The moment I heard the word cheating, I glanced around the room. I realized everyone's eyes were glued to me, especially Wang Yan. She was sitting right next to Lu Jinian, a smug, triumphant smirk plastered all over her face. Looking completely serious, I turned back to the teacher and said, "Ms. Lin, do you have any actual proof that I cheated?" Our homeroom teacher, Lin Jingmei, replied, "Your grades on the last exam were painfully low, yet this time, you've made a sudden, massive improvement. It's honestly very hard to believe. So, just to be on the safe side, we've decided to give you a different set of questions and have you take the test again. Do you have any objections?" Hearing that they wanted me to retake the test, I was obviously upset, but Wang Yan couldn't wait to jump out of her seat. "See? I told everyone you cheated. If you actually earned those grades yourself, what are you so afraid of? Just take it again." Seeing her stare at me with that smug look on her face, Acting like you caught me red-handed. I find it pretty hilarious, honestly. You reported me for cheating without a single shred of proof. The burden of proof is on the accuser. So you should be the one backing up your claims. Otherwise, it's just pure slander. If everyone acted exactly like you, running over to report me every single day, then wouldn't I be retaking tests forever? I might as well just stop coming to class. The moment I opened my mouth, Lu Rian stared at me in complete shock. I used to be a pretty massive pushover. Whenever people yelled at me, I usually had a hard time fighting back. But surprisingly, my mind was crystal clear this time. Is this guy standing in front of her really still me? We've known each other for so long. She knows me inside out. Yet right now, she feels like I've completely changed. Seeing me fight back with rock-solid logic. You really can't blame people for doubting you. Making you retake the test is just to prove your innocence. You wouldn't want everyone whispering behind your back forever, would you? Seeing the teacher stick to his guns, clearly not believing that I earned these grades with my own brain, I let out a laugh. Sir, of course I can take the test all over again. I just think being questioned out of nowhere like this is absolutely absurd. We are classmates, after all. For Wang Yan to point fingers at me like this, I have no idea what her deal is. If I score even higher next time, won't she just find something else to complain about? So, since she chose to accuse me with zero proof, she needs to pay a price, right? If I prove I didn't cheat, how about we just have her expelled? Expelled? Hearing the word expelled, the homeroom teacher couldn't help but hesitate. Wang Yan had better grades than me, so the teacher naturally played favorites. She randomly calls me a cheater behind my back. Once nasty gossip like that spreads, it's going to ruin my life. What if I couldn't handle the intense pressure and decided to do something permanently stupid? Wouldn't I be the real victim here? Hearing me mention doing something permanent, everyone else instantly tensed up. I looked straight at Wang Yan and said, "What's the matter? Weren't you dead set on me being a cheater? Too chicken to take a bet? Of course I dare." Seeing me openly provoke her, Wang Yan immediately took the bait. She furiously turned to the homeroom teacher and snapped, "I am willing to bet my entire future what Chen Fan's grades are like. Everyone in here knows, I can confidently swear, that he absolutely cheated. He's just refusing to take the test again." And throwing out lame excuses, Wang Yan was firmly convinced I was just feeling guilty. She told the homeroom teacher, however, "If it's proven that Chen Fan cheated, then please expel him instead. I refuse to go to the same school as a loser like him." Before the teacher could even open his mouth, I had already agreed. The homeroom teacher then sighed. "Chen Fan, come straight to my office the minute class is over." After saying that, he walked right out. Wang Yan stared at me, looking like she was ready for a good show. Lu Rian looked over at me, and seeing that I actually put my enrollment on the line, she couldn't help but plead. "Chen Fan, are you absolutely sure you want to take this bet? If it's proven that you actually cheated, you're going to get expelled. It'll be even more humiliating then. If I were you, I'd go apologize to the teacher right now. A monthly exam isn't that big of a deal. As long as your apology is genuine, I can even put in a good word for you. Look, I know you wanted to beat me, and you've already made me run 10 kilometers, so I'm willing to let this slide." Seeing Lu Rian act like she was doing me some huge favor, I just stared at her. She hadn't spoken a single word to me lately, playing the cold, aloof goddess. Yet here she was, pretending to be the voice of reason. A smirk crept onto my face. "You really think I copied my answers, don't you? Is that why you're putting on this fake show of concern? Instead of lecturing me, why don't you go lecture Wang Yan? She's your best friend, after all." Even though Wang Yan is the one taking the fall, Lu Jinian is far from innocent, too. He's just too used to hiding behind his pure, innocent little act. I would never believe he had nothing to do with this. I knew exactly what kind of person Lu Jinian was from my past life. I saw right through him. Whenever Lu Rian and I hit a rough patch, he was always right there, making snide remarks. The guy was an absolute two-faced snake. Lu Rian thought she was doing me a favor. Seeing how completely ungrateful I was, her expression instantly darkened. "I'm doing this for your own good. Can't you see that? For my own good?" I looked Lu Rian up and down, amused. "What's the matter? Is working as a waitress too hard for you? Are you regretting it and coming back for a handout?" At the word, handout, Lu Rian's face turned livid. She stood there with a grim expression, utterly speechless. Her recent part-time jobs really hadn't been going well. Her coursework was already demanding enough, on top of having so much to handle for the student council. She was exhausted every single day, coming home late, and the worst part was, that tiny paycheck wasn't nearly enough to cover her expenses. I had completely spoiled her, getting her used to throwing money around. Only now was she realizing just how painfully hard it is to give up a life of luxury. Especially when it came to me. She probably thought I was just acting like a spoiled rich kid, throwing a little tantrum, and that I just wanted to give her a hard time for a few days. She must have been wondering, what is going on with him now? Why isn't he desperately kissing up to me anymore? After all, in the past, no matter how horribly she treated me, I would always come crawling right back. Seeing her stand there in dead silence, unable to refute a single word, I let out a smirk. Are you still delusional enough to think that I'm just throwing a little fit? And that I'll pathetically come crawling back to beg for your forgiveness? Honestly, I kind of get it. After all, I used to spend money like water, too. But after I was kicked out of my house in my past life, left absolutely penniless, the misery of those days was burned into my memory forever. If you've been living paycheck to paycheck from the very beginning, it's really not that bad. But going from a life of absolute luxury straight into complete poverty, that feeling is absolute hell. Back then, I used to lie in bed every single day, just fantasizing. Fantasizing about the day Lu Rian would suddenly come to her senses, and realize that I was completely innocent. I dreamed she would come back, forgive me, and finally bring me home. But I waited, and right up until the day I died, she never believed me. All I got was the news of her marrying someone else, and the sickening truth that she was the one who framed me. I'm sure Lu Rian's life is pretty miserable right now, too. After all, I had financially supported her for quite a long time, but no more. Lu Rian pressed her lips tightly together. If you honestly think I'm going to come crawling back to you, then you're absolutely delusional. If you really want me to take you back, you'd better get on your knees and beg. Who knows, if I feel sorry enough for you, I might just treat you a little better, maybe even throw some money your way. I said that with a smile, but my heart was completely cold. It's not like I'd actually forgive her just because she begged, but I really wanted to see Lu Rian begging pitifully right in front of me. She's way too arrogant, I just can't stand her looking so high and mighty. She got me killed in our last life. There was no way I'd let her off the hook so easily this time around. So, I figured I might as well give her a tiny sliver of hope. Lu Rian scoffed. Don't even think about it. She spat the words out ice cold, and didn't even glance my way again. But I was in no rush. Right after class, I headed to the teacher's office. Besides my homeroom teacher, the dean of students was there, along with 2 other teachers from my grade. They drew up a brand new test for me. When I was finally done, the teachers graded my paper together and came to a conclusion. My score was actually really good, which proved beyond a doubt that I hadn't cheated on the monthly exam. My homeroom teacher looked at me, a little surprised. Well, it looks like you really didn't cheat. But, why were your grades so terrible before? I thought back to how I used to lose my damn mind over Lu Rian, and just said, I was foolish back then. I didn't take my studies seriously. My family hired a new tutor recently, and it's clearly paying off. Maybe only those who have already left school truly understand just how precious these days are. After all, school is the only place that's still relatively fair. Here, if you put in the hard work, you'll actually see the payoff. Once you step out into the real world, that's when you realize just how brutal society really is. When I walked back into the classroom, the homeroom teacher and the dean followed right behind me. They announced the results. Once it was officially confirmed that I didn't cheat, Wang Yan completely panicked. How is that possible? There is no way he didn't cheat. The homeroom teacher's face turned icy. The atmosphere in our class right now is absolutely unacceptable. You are all classmates, you should be helping each other out. But blindly accusing a student who has made real progress, that is incredibly damaging to them. I expect all of you to learn from this. I turned my gaze straight to Wang Yan. You said you'd drop out. You're not going to back out now, are you? Oh, it looks like you are backing out. Wow, I guess some people really can't even keep their own promises, huh? If that's the case, do yourself a favor and don't make bets you can't honor. Xiao Fan, Lu Jinian, seeing his dear friend getting cornered, stepped up to play the hero. We are all classmates here. There's really no need to be so harsh. Wang Yan was just looking out for you. She was just worried that you might have made a bad choice in a moment of weakness. She didn't mean any harm. Just, please give her another chance, okay? As soon as Lu Jinian opened his mouth, the other students turned to me, chiming in. Yeah, forcing her to drop out is way too far, man. A smirk crept onto my face as I stared out at this crowd. A bunch of hypocrites who loved to judge from their high horses. They were really kissing up to Lu Jinian. Whatever Lu Jinian said was absolute law to them. I locked eyes with him and fired back. Since your heart aches for her so much, how about you drop out instead of her? Lu Jinian pressed his lips tightly together. He stared at me and his eyes instantly welled up with tears. Looking just like I had brutally bullied him. Naturally, that got the whole class pointing fingers at me again. Hey, it was Wang Yan who offended you, not Lu Jinian. Why are you talking to Lu Jinian like that? Yeah, exactly. Jinian always speaks up for you. He treats every single classmate equally. Seeing everyone gang up on me, I just smirked. Treats everyone equally? Give me a break. If I were the one getting expelled today, would he speak up for me too? Of course I would. I've always told the class to be nicer to you too, okay? I couldn't stomach his fake nice guy routine. I turned to Wang Yan and snapped. Fine, you don't have to drop out. You're just a backstabber whose word means nothing anyway. Since you won't drop out, how about you go run 20 kilometers instead? Wang Yan stared at me, finally realizing just how ruthless I could be. 20 kilometers? Wasn't that basically asking for her life? She was already terrible at sports. If you can't pull it off, then just be a good girl and drop out. I scoffed and sat back down. To be honest, her dropping out wouldn't really affect me anyway. But if I didn't punish her now, everyone else would think they could just walk all over me. I had to make her pay some sort of price. Wang Yan gritted her teeth. Fine, I'll run. Oh, you're not just running. While you run, you're going to scream your apology. Admit that you framed me, and that I didn't cheat. I want the whole school to know exactly what you did. Aren't you taking this a bit too far? Won't that completely humiliate her in front of the whole school? Compared to what you guys did, I'd say I'm being pretty damn merciful. After class, Wang Yan headed out to run her 20 kilometers just to avoid getting expelled. She really had no other choice. And I wasn't just sitting on my hands, either. I sat on the bleachers to watch her, not planning to let her slide on a single lap. Her stamina was nowhere near Lu Rian's, obviously. She was crawling. Plus, having to shout with every step, she was quickly on the verge of blacking out from exhaustion. Lu Jinian walked over and sighed at me. Xiao Fan, Wang Yan already knows she was wrong. Just let her go this once. She doesn't have stamina like Lu Rian. Running 20 kilometers will literally kill her. So let me get this straight. If I had been driven to my death by your rumors, then I would have totally deserved it? But you're perfectly fine right now, aren't you? Besides, you're not the type to do something stupid anyway. I shifted my cold gaze to Lu Jinian's face. The afternoon sun was beaming down behind him, leaving him backlit. His face was cast in deep shadow, making his expression impossible to read. He had this arrogant, holier-than-thou vibe. I suddenly remembered right before my own brutal death. Lu Jinian had gone out of his way to call and mock me. And as for everything Lu Rian had done, I wasn't sure if he was directly involved, but he had known about it the entire time. They joined hands to destroy me, and now he has the nerve to stand here and call me out of line? You really have zero shame, don't you? How much longer are you going to keep playing the innocent golden boy? Don't tell me you expect me to act like the rest of the class, just blindly nodding at whatever you say? And treating you like a god? If you're so pissed off about this, then go run the laps for Wang Yan yourself. Stop standing there making your hypocritical remarks. Seeing Lu Jinian taking the heat, Lu Rian stormed over and snapped. Chen Fan, don't push your luck. Jinian was just trying to be nice. He's warning you because if something happens to her, you won't be able to handle the consequences. I looked up at her. What, a beauty saving the hero? Too bad he's the one who messed with me. If you don't want me to chew you out, stay far away from me. Those gifts you gave her before were all bought with my money. You really think she doesn't want anything from you, and just likes you for your dirt poor family and that gambling addict of a father? Lu Jinian only knew that Lu Rian's father was a driver. He had no clue he was also a gambling addict. He shot a glance at Lu Rian. Seeing her terrible expression, he didn't even bother questioning her family situation and just turned to me. Chen Fan, you hate me this much and you're targeting my friends. Is it because of Lu Rian? Do you think I stole her from you? If so, I'll give her back to you. Jinian, don't say things like that. I don't even like her anyway. That's enough. You can keep Lu Rian to yourself. I don't recycle trash here. Before Lu Rian could talk back, I continued, as for you saying I bullied Wang Yan, the whole school knows she's the one who bullied me. I'm already being incredibly generous here. If she doesn't want to run, she can just drop out. It's not like I'm stopping her. I used to want to be a good person, keep up a nice guy image and never bully anyone. But in the end, I became the one getting bullied. Getting a second chance at life, I just want to live for my own satisfaction. And I don't give a damn about what others think of me. Seeing that I was completely beyond saving, Lu Rian turned to Lu Jinian and said, Jinian, we don't need to waste our breath on him. If something really happens to Wang Yan later, it'll be too late for him to regret it. Let's go. After saying that, she grabbed Lu Jinian and stormed away from me. Wang Yan's stamina was absolute garbage. She passed out after running just 10 kilometers, and was rushed to the hospital after Lu Rian and Lu Jinian made a call. I followed them to the hospital too. Lu Rian gloated as she glared at me. Are you happy now? I am happy. Why wouldn't I be? I picked up my phone and called the hospital director, having him arrange for the best doctors to come over. Then, I covered all the medical bills. Originally, Lu Rian and Lu Jinian wanted to use Wang Yan fainting to make a huge fuss, but now they were left completely speechless. Lu Jinian stayed in the ward, looking at Wang Yan who was just waking up in the hospital bed. Are you alright? Lu Jinian gently patted her shoulder. How are you feeling now? Everything hurts so much. Wang Yan started playing the victim. I had a yogurt in my hand, sipping it casually. The specialists just came to check on you. You are perfectly healthy right now, your stamina is just terribly weak. I suggest you exercise more. Remember to go to school tomorrow and finish those remaining 10 kilometers. Wang Yan's eyes went wide. She had literally passed out. Yet he was still thinking about making her run another 10 kilometers. Was this guy purely evil? Are you trying to kill me? Relax. You won't die. If you pass out again, the specialists of this entire hospital will be at your service. Seeing Wang Yan's face flush bright red with anger, I raised an eyebrow and asked softly, You're not trying to back out now, are you? Then how about you just drop out? Don't take this too far. I hear both your parents work over at Jing Tian Group. Seeing that I actually brought up her family matters, Wang Yan stared at me, eyes wide. Chen Fan, you investigated me? So what if I did? Wang Yan clenched her fists tightly. I'll finish the run tomorrow. Glad to hear it. Your medical bills have already been paid. And don't worry, as long as you haven't finished your 10 kilometers, even if you drop dead, I'll make sure the doctors bring you right back to life. With that, I walked out the door. Seeing the cold look on my face as I left, Lu Ruyan frowned. Wang Yan was perfectly fine. After resting up and getting an IV drip at the hospital, Lu Jinyan and Lu Ruyan took her home. I didn't just sit around either. Once I got home, I snapped photos of the medical bills and the hospital's diagnosis report, and sent them straight to our class group chat. I've seen way too many scammers faking injuries, so I wasn't about to leave anyone anything to use against me. Once all of that was sorted out, I finally laid down in bed. The next day, Wang Yan obediently went and ran her 10 kilometers. After everything that happened, whenever she was around me, she didn't dare act as cocky as before. Even if she was still pissed off on the inside, she only had the guts to talk trash behind my back. She didn't dare point fingers at my face anymore. The others were a lot more wary of me, too. Everyone saw exactly what happened when you crossed me. Plus, I was filthy rich. If you ticked me off, I'd even cover your medical bills for you. No one was calling me a simp anymore. And they stopped bringing up my bad grades, too. On Monday afternoon, I had just walked out of the school gates when I spotted two pretty girls standing right by the entrance. Judging by their uniforms, they had to be from First High. Wow, she's gorgeous. That's Lan Ying Ying, from the First High Tennis Club. In the past, I only ever had eyes for Lu Ruyan, so I never really paid attention to anyone else. I felt like I'd heard the name Lan Ying Ying before, but I couldn't really picture her face. Taking a good look at her now, I had to admit she had a great figure. But if we're talking about pure beauty, she wasn't even close to Li Shiya's level. I honestly don't know how I was so blind in my past life to actually reject a girl like Li Shiya. Looking at her now, I finally realized just how incredibly stunning she was. Put her next to anyone and she'd easily steal the spotlight. My driver was already waiting at the gates. I was just about to hop in the car when Lan Ying Ying suddenly blocked my path. You're Chen Fan, right? Lan Ying Ying stared at me, eyes full of curiosity. And who are you? I don't think we know each other, do we? Lan Ying Ying just gave a faint smirk. Everyone on the forums has been talking about you lately. The gossip even made it all the way to our school. Naturally, people were saying I wasn't someone to mess with. The story of me teaching Wang Yan a lesson had spread like wildfire. Having someone step up and challenge me face to face like that, I actually found it pretty amusing. I wasn't mad at all. I just looked at her calmly and asked, "Is your name Lan Ying Ying?" Lan Ying Ying stared at me in total shock. "You actually know who I am? Don't tell me you've got a crush on me. I'll have you know, I'm not some easy gold digger," she said, dramatically clutching her hands over her chest. Like me asking for her name meant I was gonna harass her or something. I looked at her narcissistic face and couldn't help but laugh. "Are you too poor to afford a mirror at home? If you're really that broke, I can give you some cash to buy one and take a good look at yourself. You think I'd actually fall for you?" After saying that, I grabbed my backpack and just walked away. Hearing me insult her like that, Lan Ying Ying definitely felt her ego take a hit. "Hey, why are you talking to me like that? I'm actually pretty cute, you know." I completely ignored her and just got straight into the car. Lan Ying Ying stood right where she was, a smirk slowly creeping onto her face. "Your name is Chen Fan, right? I can't believe you dared to call me ugly. I'm definitely gonna remember this." Anyway, by the time I got home, Li Xia was there. She had completely vanished for the last few days. And now she finally showed up. Dubai hadn't seen her for days either, so he was being extra affectionate with her. "Are you all done with your stuff?" Li Xia stood up and I took one look at her. Man, she looked absolutely stunning. I honestly thought you got too annoyed tutoring me, and weren't ever coming back. I even started looking for other tutors recently, but none of them explained things as efficiently as you do. I wouldn't. I just had a lot on my plate. Hey, you really don't need to explain yourself to me. I'm just really happy that you're here to tutor me. If you have other things going on, then just go handle them. After how terribly I treated her in my past life, she still cared about me until the very end and even had her people collect my body. Compared to everything I did to her just being busy for a few days is absolutely nothing. Hearing me say all that, Li Xia gave a soft nod. "Let's get to our lesson." So, Li Xia and I walked into the study together. Since we hadn't seen each other in days, I had saved up a ton of questions to ask her while I was doing my homework. Li Xia just sat quietly beside me, watching. Of course, she had seen the rumors online too. She had been pretty worried at first, wondering if I was heartbroken over it. But seeing that I was actually doing perfectly fine, she held back the comforting words she was going to say. Li Xia's phone chimed with a text. She flipped it open and took a quick glance. It was a message from Lan Ying Ying. Even though Li Xia had already promised me, Ying Ying was still paranoid she'd back out. After all, Li Xia always did things on her own terms. Li Xia just replied with a simple "Okay. I'm stopping by your school this week, by the way." "Why are you going to my school?" I looked at her in surprise. There's a tennis tournament. They're holding it at 8th High's tennis courts. Oh, then I'll definitely go cheer you on. Hearing me say that, Li Xia gave a little nod. She remembered how, in the past, whenever she saw me, I was always trailing behind Lu Rian like a lost puppy. It was like I only had eyes for her, and couldn't see anyone else. She used to think I'd never even noticed her. But now, hearing that I was going to cheer her on, a faint, hidden smile tugged at the corners of Li Xia's lips. The tournament was set for Thursday afternoon. Even before it started, the whole school was already buzzing with excitement. Everyone was whispering about it. Our girls' tennis team has always been top tier. Hey, Lan Yingying visited our school the other day. She is drop-dead gorgeous. No way, she doesn't even come close to our campus belle. Lu Rian is the real deal, beauty and brains. She has great grades and she plays tennis really well, too. Plus, she's gorgeous, so naturally, she has a ton of fans at school. Lu Jinian has been pretty annoyed the past couple of days, especially after last time. When I brought up the fact that Lu Rian's dad was a gambling addict, it really got under his skin. He's seen that kind of addict before. Meanwhile, I just stared at my book, completely ignoring them. In the past, whenever Lu Rian had a match, I would have been the first one rallying everyone together to go cheer for her. Looking back now, it's honestly ridiculous that I ever acted like that. Since everyone was gossiping about me dating an older woman, the rest of the class was busy hyping up Lu Rian. They didn't even bother inviting me. Instead, I overheard some guys whispering. I heard Li Xia is also from First High. I wonder if she's gonna show up. Li Xia is literally the only person who manages to score higher than Lu Rian on every single exam. Her name had definitely left a massive impression on everyone. She probably won't come, right? Word is she rarely ever joins these competitions, so getting to see her is super rare. Seeing them obsess over Li Xia, Lu Rian's expression darkened. She looked totally uncomfortable. Slowly, her gaze shifted over to me. Seeing me completely buried in my book, it clearly pissed her off. Is he really not even planning to come cheer for me? She turned to me and snapped. Is studying this hard every single day actually doing anything for you? I was surprised she actually cared about my business. I just smirked and said, of course it is. I'm not exactly like you. You already have great grades, so naturally, I need to put in the extra hours. Or what, can't you stand seeing me improve? After all, I'm already loaded. And pretty damn good looking. If my grades actually ended up better than yours and Lu Jinian's, how would you two even survive? Lu Rian just let out a soft, dismissive laugh. You have improved, I'll give you that. But you barely scraped into the top 200. The higher up you go, the more brutal the competition gets. Who knows, you might just plummet right back down next time. Why would I be scared of you passing me? To her, me breaking into the top 200 was already a miracle. Lu Rian genuinely didn't believe I could ever beat her. Li Xia could beat her, simply because that girl was an absolute genius. Lu Rian couldn't even fathom how Li Xia's brain worked, but as for me, she thought no amount of hard work could ever make me pass her. Especially with her years of a head start. I just calmly replied, who knows, nobody can predict the future. Whatever, I'm done talking to you. I need to go get ready for my match. With that, she just abruptly stood up and walked right out of the classroom. Meanwhile, Lu Jinian, who was sitting next to me, had been listening to our whole conversation. His fingers were subconsciously clenching into fists. But he still played the bigger man, strolling over and asking, hey, Chen Fan. We're all heading out to cheer for Lu Rian in a bit. You wanna tag along? Ever since I cut ties with Lu Rian,